And you just watch the way Green Bay is getting started here. They're really crisp. There it is. You know, like they do in wrestling. Boom! There it is. Boom! Right there. That's a wham block. There it is. Throw me the money!
Good evening, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Boom! I said evening right out the gate, Ari. I am backwards. It is Sunday morning. We are week 2 of the playoffs here, and we have Ari live. Ari Betts live.
Woohoo! Thanks for having me on.
How are you doing, Ari?
I'm doing great. How are you doing, Chris?
So yesterday was bittersweet for me. I did win my bets because of the plus 9.5 that they were giving the Packers.
Yeah.
Well, we did make an exit, and that's sad. And they played their hearts out. They looked really good. Starting to run that ball, play defense. You can really tell that Matt LaFleur's offense is taking shape without Aaron Rodgers in there. I bet Aaron Rodgers audibled out 75% of the time. We never really got to see what LaFleur's offense actually looked like. So it's kind of exciting. If there's a lot of running, we've never seen that in Green Bay. Run defense, run defense. Not a bad little potion for the postseason. Ari, What did you think about it?
I really enjoyed watching this game. Hey, Craig, by the way, I see his comment over here. Hey, Craig in Canada.
Chuck's in the house.
Hey, Chuck. Oh, cool. This is so great. We have everyone here. Thank you so much for coming on, joining our live podcast. Yesterday was great. I hit both of my plays that I posted on TikTok. Come find me on TikTok at Ariel Callista. Yesterday in college basketball, the money was all over the board, and I just stayed away from that because even though all the money was all over the board, it kind of ended up going back to the original lines. I almost bet both of the NFL games yesterday, but my AI told me just to bet the Texans-Ravens game. And I mean, really, like, I was going to bet the under in San Francisco, but AI took me off of that and said, bet the under in the Texans-Ravens game. And this is where it's also important to look at things like even like weather, you know, 13-mile-an-hour wind versus a 15-mile-an-hour winds, you know, that is a huge difference of significance right there. You know, 13 really not significant. 15 it is significant. In the Texans-Ravens game, the line was set at 43.5. And, you know, I mean, really it came down to like a field goal, no field goal.
Go ahead. What you got?
Yeah, I mean, I put myself in the over-under person's shoes. So, I mean, really, it was in the last 5 minutes. The drama was unfolding. And, yeah, I bet the under in San Francisco and not the under in a Texans-Ravens game.
Nice. What are you feeling about today? So was your favorite bet yesterday, or do we get your favorite bet today of the weekend?
My favorite bet was yesterday, the under, the under in the San Francisco game. I saw that happening all week. I was tracking the money, and I mean, all of the money was going in on the over, and Las Vegas was not budging the line at all. You know, usually like a little bit of line movement, they'll react. I mean, even if it's just half a point, Las Vegas will react. So I saw all of the squares going over, so I had to bet the under on a Niners game, and of course, like that hit, so that was great.
Sorry, I'm pulling up your email, Aria, because Miss Betts, what I want to do while I just have it's me and you is I'm going to pull your email up and we're going to share the screen, and I want you to walk me through what I'm reading and what I'm supposed to be betting.
Of course.
On the daily. I'm a daily better. I can set it and forget it. I just like to have a little money out there. I like the bankroll juices to be flowing. I don't want to, we don't want to be taking days off, downtime, get rusty. Just stay in the game 24/7. Your emails will do that for me if I know what I'm reading.
Yeah,
So let's
absolutely.
talk. We'll talk a little bit about today's games. I don't want to get too much in because I know some guys are probably going to pop in here in a little bit and they're going to want to really bust down the games with you. So
Okay.
I don't want to waste the time where I have to go through your emails. Anyways, so what's our early game today? We have Buccaneers Lions.
Yeah, the Buccaneers versus the Lions.
What do you got here?
Okay, so I talk about money a lot and where the money is going, particularly how Vegas is reacting to the money. So to break down my morning email, which you could join for free at ariocallista.com, I show whether, I mean, of course, there's always going to be money everywhere, but for me, all money isn't always significant money. So when it becomes significant, that's what I call level 1 money. And then I grade it on a scale of 1 to 5, where level 5 is the most significant. But even if there's a lot of money being played on the game, it doesn't mean it's always qualifies as being significant. So the spread on the Lions, it opened up at -6. It was -6 on level 2 money, -6.5 on level 1 money, and now all the money has disappeared and it's still at -6. So Vegas is really not moving really anywhere. It went back to the original opening line here, and the money has since disappeared. So to me, I am not betting the spread. I'm staying away from this in particular.
You know, a really smart guy told me this weekend, which I've never considered in my 47 years of walking on this planet, that some people take weekends off from betting.
Yeah, some people
When
do.
I read that line of how did he put it? I can't remember exactly how he put it, but he said after 40 years of sports gambling, you learn when to stay away. The weekends you stay away. And apparently this was one of those kind of weekends. I've personally never heard of that. That sounds like a responsible wager around here at Degenerate Army or #Degen Army. We get after it. Go.
Yeah, I think it is responsible. I don't play every game, and it's really hard to maintain even a 15% or 10% ROI if you do bet every game, because I mean, the truth is the lines are tight, and it's also hard to make a qualified analysis for every game and every league, and sometimes it's better to stay away if Vegas really isn't taking a side.
So there's 2 times I've had that feeling when I read that man's email yesterday. When my father told me that Santa Claus wasn't real,
Mhm.
and then when my buddy said you don't have to gamble every day. Like, what? I just said I don't even understand the words that are coming out of your mouth right now. So what we got? We got Detroit Buccaneers, Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Detroit Lions. I am big on the Lions today. If I'm going to put my money somewhere, I'm trusting the Lions -6. Now, I'm not going to put a lot of money on it because I'm really going to root for Baker, because what a fun story. I've been following Baker since he went to Texas Tech. He played behind Patty Mahomes. I believe he walked on one year, then he left, walks on at Oklahoma, earns himself a starting position and a scholarship, and has a hell of a career. Gets drafted #1 by Cleveland. So he did learn how to shoot commercials that first rookie year. Not too much about football, but then he goes and gets his head on straight, bounced around a little bit, and he has landed in Tampa and landed with a chip on his shoulder. Baker Mayfield, ladies and gentlemen, with a chip on his shoulder is scary. That kid will sling the ball, and he's got some dudes back there that can catch it.
Yeah, I actually
That's the
have Baker
emotional side.
Mayfield.
That's the emotional side, Ari. So you
Emotional
bet
side.
responsibly and smart, and I'm just like throwing out. Well, back in 1994, he won the Texas State title. You can't bet against that man. That's my kind of betting.
Yeah, I love it. I actually have him as a prop today. I like under 36 and a half passing attempts. So, I mean, it's an
Under
under
what?
here,
Wait, say
under
that
30,
again.
under 36 and a half passing attempts.
That's fair. That's fair. You're gonna see some. You're gonna see some running in this game. I'll tell you what. You run the ball and play defense. That's how you win playoff games.
Yeah. I see everyone in the comments still talking about the Texans Ravens game. Good stuff. So, even though I didn't bet on that game yesterday, I was still putting myself in like the under over person's shoes. And I thought it was really fun to watch. I watched I don't watch all of the games that I bet on, and I watch some of the games that I don't bet on too, of course. So I really like to keep it balanced. And I loved watching that game yesterday because like for the person who's betting the over or the under in that game, it was so close. Like it was like the last 2 minutes, like, oh my God, are they going to go under? Are they going to go over? And I could just see how really betting gives you so much more engagement in a game. You know, I was yelling at the TV saying, oh, it's a commercial break. We have 2 minutes left on the clock.
Hey, you know what was fun, Ari? I'll tell you that. Have you ever watched? Did you watch Amazon Thursday night games? They had like stats,
Sometimes.
crazy stats. Like
they do have a really nice.
There's some alternate channels now, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they're doing the crazy stat ones. I was thinking, man, they're going to eventually allow me to go up and touch my TV and bet on that game. Bet on that down. Is this going to be a first down or not? Yes or no? You know, that's what it felt like. They're really getting super interactive. The sweat, all of it. That's how you get people into football, right? Put $5 on it. Now you'll sit down.
Absolutely. And I think what Amazon is doing with the NFL and creating better storylines so people continuously like stay more and more engaged throughout the show is so fun. Plus, even the in-game betting is getting more and more exciting because there are opportunities to find like incredible odds that, you know, people wouldn't necessarily find. Like and Vegas knows how even the betting public's going to react. Like for example in baseball, even, you know, if someone hits a home run in the first inning, I mean it's like, you know, some people are like, okay, you know, like we're defeated now, but other people react like, okay, let's double down on our team. And you know, and Vegas knows how the public's going to react, so then you could really find like the interesting betting opportunities there. So, I mean, even better odds, which creates like more of a fun live in-game play.
So live betting is something that I'm new to. And I done it a few times. I've just like buddies say like, hey, quick, hedge this out on the live side. All right. But now I've been doing some live in-game NBA. I'm having a little bit of fun with that. The Thunder's been a lot of fun for me on live betting.
Oh, fun.
And we'll get into more of that later after football season. I don't. So hockey, I love football. I don't have to put $1 on football to watch the game because I'm in love with the teams, right? I'm invested in the parody and the season and the drama, on field, off field. I love it all. I love those guys. Like I get to know them, you know. It's fun. I'm not that way with NBA. Not that way with hockey. I'm like that with baseball on a regional scale. So I know like I know the Central, right? I know the Brewers. I'm a huge Brewers fan. I know the Cubbies, the Cards, you know, all that. So hockey and NBA is ones that I can put money on and then get into, right?
Mm-hmm.
NBA used to be like put $5 on the game. It's kind of unwatchable now. I need to put like 25 on it to really get my attention. Hockey, I can put $1. Something about those kids, man. Those kids are so much fun. They just get knocked down, they get back up. Broken jaw, no problem. Let's go score a goal. I mean, just the grit and the want to of a hockey player, I can get down with that. That's my kind of guy. Well, do you watch anything else, Ari, besides football?
Yeah. I like to watch the hockey games. When the Golden Knights first came to Las Vegas, I really started getting into hockey around then. Especially because like it was finally like in my city, it was the first time we really had a sports team in Las Vegas.
Oh,
I
the
mean,
Knights.
yeah, I mean, growing up in Las Vegas, we never really had any sports teams to rally around. I mean, now we have the Las Vegas Aces, we have the Golden Knights. So I started really getting into this, and one of my favorite memories is actually being in a bar I was with a bunch of other girls and we were all watching the Las Vegas Aces on TV. And we were just so passionate. There was so much energy in the room. It, it was, it was a vibe. It was really cool. And there was like one other dude there, but he was in the back. But, me
Awesome.
with all my girls in a bar, like cheering on the Aces, it was really a fun moment. So I think there's so many different sports that are so much fun to watch. And, when you're with a great group of people, I mean, there's nothing like it. There really isn't anything like it. Even if you're not even betting $1 down, it's still fun to watch the sport and enjoy it with your friends, and the energy and everything about it is great. I see a comment from Chuck Stebbins.
All right, did you hear anything about the popular prop bets?
Yeah, I did hear about the prop bets yesterday. Um, that was it was fun watching the talking heads on TV, especially on Fox, all speculating, creating their 3-leg props for the upcoming
Underdog.
San Francisco game.
Yeah, yeah.
And other than Gronk, I mean, just because like you're a coach or a star athlete or something on the team, I don't think necessarily like their prop information is great, because just because you were a player on the team doesn't mean that you know how the wagering is going to go. I mean, I hit my prop yesterday, which was over 1.5 rushing yards for CJ Stroud at -110, and it went over in the first 5 plays. So I think, just because you've been a star athlete, or you've been a star coach, and you've been on a team, the game, you could give background on a game. I love hearing that. I love hearing the background, the analysis, all of that. But it doesn't always translate to, the star athlete or star coach being able to give great wagers or great props or great parlays. And I think that's something that people need to definitely be a little bit more aware of, because you could follow the game and be great at following the game and be great at knowing all of the players in the background and analysis. But it doesn't always mean that you're following the money, which is what Vegas is doing and what they're adjusting for the betting public. So I thought that was kind of interesting watching that
Absolutely.
yesterday, right before the late game.
Baseball, my first game was in County Stadium. That's Brewers right there. Cannot watch NBA if I hard to watch. I'm mainly soccer fan as my and
I'm
hockey.
excited for baseball season.
Well, I can't wait. I do. I love baseball. Like I said, I'm more of a regional fan. I think that's probably MLB's fault, because they keep it regional. I don't get a chance. I've really a little upsetting that you don't get a chance to see like Owatani and Trout every day, because these are some of the greatest players maybe of our generation, and we miss them out here in Wisconsin because they play out in California, and they keep it really regional. I don't love that about the marketing. Me and the NHL and the MLB marketing team could have some words. Tell them about the Aces parade, 1.5 blocks. Embarrassing.
It was. I mean, whenever the Golden Knights win, they shut down the whole town basically. Like everyone goes out and they party through the whole city. It's crazy. It's craziness. But the Aces, I just felt bad because they got half of a block. to have a parade.
Oh,
And it's like, come on, like us who are passionate about the WNBA, like we want to celebrate with our team. Like it's just as valid to go out and celebrate for the WNBA as for the NHL. And I mean, I know that, you know, watching the WNBA isn't as popular for a lot of people, but I mean, even the NHL isn't as popular as the NFL. So, you know, I mean, everyone deserves their parade down Main Street. You get what I'm saying?
yeah, absolutely. Are you guys gonna get the Oakland A's? I heard that. Is that real?
Yeah.
Stroud was a fucking steal. I'll tell you what, getting Bill O'Ryan out of Texas was the best thing they could have ever done. Not now, yeah, that dude single-handedly is gonna ruin that franchise. Lots of blackjack dealers, but they are. That ain't no bullshit. That's my daughter, Callie, my oldest daughter, forever in love with Ryan Braun. Yes, you are.
Oh, cool. I'm
Her
glad your
first
daughter joined the
love.
podcast.
Oh yeah. I invited her to come on. She said she wanted to come on and smoke a joint because it's Wake and Rake, but she hasn't jumped on yet. Told her
Oh,
she
I would
could
love
jump
that.
on
I'll
and
smoke a joint with her. I need to light up. Where's the cannabis? Let me get some cannabis.
Oh, I should probably say that's my oldest daughter. Not she doesn't live here because she's older, so she can smoke weed. I do have two daughters that are 14 and 17. It's not them.
Not them. It's the one that's my age.
Yeah, yep. It's the one that lives on her own. Not in the same state.
I'm going to pull out a pre-roll from my little box here.
She does that. You better plug that, Ari. Quit jacking around and self-promote yourself, lady.
Okay. This is, as you can see, the Whalers stash box. Here, it says it on the top too, stash box. And inside of here, we have 4 of the 3.5 gram. So that's an 1/8, you know, in here, pre-ground flour. So it's ready to go, ready to smoke, no grinder necessary. Then we have the 1/4, so 7 grams. And underneath here, this was all filled with pre-rolls, but I've been taking them out and smoking them. So it only looks half full right now because I love cannabis. And down here, we have all of our duo pre-rolls. So there's 2 in each pack here. And this is for the Whalers. And these are all Delta 8, so they could actually be sold in every single state. And it gets you just as high as regular cannabis. I mean, Delta 8 and Delta 9 are basically almost the same thing, except a lot of people report like feeling less paranoid and more happy on Delta 8. So all of these really could be sold pretty much anywhere, like in any smoke shop across the country. They could sell it in Wisconsin even. Except I know Wisconsin has some weird in-state hemp laws, but maybe not.
Yeah, that's why we smoke like THCA, which I don't even know what is. We'll get into that someday.
Oh, that's the acid form of THC.
Yeah. Okay.
I really like I like THCA because for me personally, when it comes to cannabis, a lot of people tell me and other people in the cannabis industry, and I've been in the cannabis industry for many years now. I've had hundreds of people in the cannabis industry, whether you're brokers, manufacturers, brands, whatever, walk through my doors and say like, oh, you know, we have this hemp farm here, and they'll show me their hemp grows, or they'll show me their marijuana grows, and then they show me the process of how they take the cannabis off the plant and they hang it to dry for a month. And then, you know, it has to go to a lab and that takes a month, and and then it goes into the public. But THCA is still on the cannabis plant if you pick the cannabis right off of the plant and smoke it. If you smoke it like right off of the plant, it's way more potent, hallucinogenic. It gets you way more high than if you were to wait 2 weeks and dry it off and just let it get old. I mean, in my opinion, I feel like cannabis is like a vegetable. You know, you're not going to pull your lettuce out of the ground and let it sit on your counter for 2 months. I mean, you should consume it right there, and it's more potent, more powerful. That's what I like.
And it tastes better.
It does, and it gets you way higher. so many people.
Chuck said I was wondering why Ariel wasn't high. Oh, Callie said, "Don't tell my age; it shows yours." Oh, honey, I say I'm 47 all the time.
I already am high. I already smoked before I got on here. That's why I was like, "Whoa, word scramble at the beginning."
That's
But
right. One Love Marley movie. What? That was a Chuck's right. I did see that commercial. He done told. He done told it this morning. 47. That's right, Callie. I don't have my age, baby. February 14th debut. Get ready, area. What is that?
that's a Marley movie.
Oh, nice.
The One Love, yeah. And I mean, because we know that Marley and the Wailers was the original band, the Wailers, this is going to be huge. So you're going to be seeing the Whalers stash box, what I'm holding up right here, in stores across the country. And you will see more cannabis themed, the Whaler shirts. I have a whole line and website design ready to launch. So it's really exciting because it's not only like incorporating the old like 70s history of reggae into everything, but it's also incorporating the new. And the Whalers are still out there performing. And I mean, they're sold out all over America and all over Europe. I mean, they sell out huge stadiums. They sell 1.2 million shirts a year. So it's still a big band. And I mean, it's still the most iconic band in the reggae genre right now.
Absolutely.
I like
Is there anybody
Greg's
else?
comment. Marley rules.
Yeah, Marley does rule. V8 is super popular in Wisconsin. Yeah, it is everywhere. Everybody sells it. But the THCA is too. Like up at the dispensary here in the town I live in, it's under the hemp rule. I don't know all that stuff. They do, but they grow flower there, and it's good. And it's
Yeah.
not because they have a bar there too. You can just go pull up to the bar, order pre-roll, smoke it right there. We have a studio in there.
What?
The studio's all glass. It butts up to the bar, so you can sit in the bar and watch this podcast. We are still getting the setup over there done. We've done a couple of shows. The first Wake and Rake show of the year we did at the studio. If you go back and watch it, you can see the studio. But yeah, they have a cannabis bar. They do these vapor deals that fills your glass up, and you like sip the vape. It's almost like and it tastes like a drink. Oh yeah. And then they have a full cannabis bar in the back. You can get cannabis shots, or they make all kinds of drinks, but they're cannabis infused. And that's right here in town. And then that's where our studio is. And our studio, like on the inside, is all glass, so you can watch us. But from the outside, it's obviously not. But you can watch this podcast there. It's nice. It's fun. It'll be a lot of fun. They have
Oh
some
my
stand-up
God.
comedians in there. It's fun. Have a good time.
Oh my God. I'm going to Wisconsin now. Catch
called
me at the cannabis bar. I feel like
Canna Bloom Pharmacy is called. Pharmacy with an
cool.
F. Canna Bloom. Yep.
I like that. I feel like you guys are more, I guess, progressive when it comes to cannabis versus like even Las Vegas. We've been trying to get these cannabis lounges passed for over a year now. I was originally
Nobody knows what to do with it here because nobody knows what to do with it. That's the problem. They don't know if they can shut it down or if they can't. Nobody knows. You see what I'm saying?
It's cool that they already have it because in Vegas, we've been trying to get these cannabis lounges opened up and they've already passed saying like, okay, like we've accepted all of our applicants, you can start doing this now, but no one has done it yet because they don't know whether, the federal government's going to crack down on them or not. So I like what you guys are doing. Just go ahead and do it. Have a cannabis bar.
We live out nowhere, Wisconsin, in Dairyland. You know what I'm saying? So it's not like it's in the middle of Milwaukee with huge flashing lights. But it's fun. We've had a few bands. We had a band there on the grand opening, and we did our first show for the grand opening. It was a blast.
That's awesome, man. I want to go up there and do a show with you.
Yeah, it's fun. When we get it all, you should fly in for sure.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I will. I love cannabis, and I mean, THCA, Delta 8, all the cannabinoids, they're all found in the cannabis plant, naturally occurring. So, I mean, it's all really good for you. Your endocannabinoid system is keeping you in homeostasis. That's what your endocannabinoid system does. The phytocannabinoids, the cannabinoids from the plants, they're keeping your endocannabinoid system in balance, and they last even longer than your naturally occurring endocannabinoids. So it's good for you too. I mean, I truly believe that cannabis is something that should be part of everyone's day, even if you're not trying to smoke it or inhale it or get high. Like, there's so many other alternatives and other cannabinoids out there.
Cannabis people have it all wrong. Fresh best. Yeah. Hell yeah. THCP. See, there's so much stuff now. I don't really even understand it. Let's all meet. Yeah, let's all meet in Wisconsin for sure. I'll tell you what. Get some good bratwurst.
Absolutely.
Like Europe Cafe, the call with Wednesday and that. Just 4 years. Vegas is painful.
Yeah, Vegas is like everything moves so slow there, and we should already have cannabis lounges now. I mean, that's just a fact. What you guys are doing is awesome, I think, and I think there should be more states like that, allowing people to gather together to enjoy cannabis. Like, we could all go to a bar. Alcohol is way more intoxicating, in my opinion, than cannabis.
Absolutely. And here's the deal with cannabis, at least around here, in the Midwest. Everybody's fucking smoking it. Nobody says it.
Yeah.
I'm up there doing fucking we did a few podcasts from the studio. I'm watching people walk in. That's my neighbor. No bullshit. Like, why don't you just come over, man? It's all good. But I think what you're going to start to see is more like it being normal. And sports wagering. It's my two favorite things.
Exactly.
Besides my kids, Callie Rose,
wagering.
Obviously.
Weed, sports wagering, and family. These are our values.
All right, Ari. Can we get into this for a minute? Can I ask some dumb questions and you just answer them?
Of course, absolutely.
So we're gonna start with the NCAA, right? Because they play a lot of games and you do a lot of this every day. I see something. So if I'm looking at this, I say you put it out in the morning. San Diego State versus Boise State. Spread Boise State plus. Explain this to me. Who am I betting and why?
Okay. Sorry, I'm just pulling this up right now so I could see it. I just can't really see it on your screen there. Okay, so it says spread Boise plus 1.5. Then that was the opening line. So before the slash in my morning emails, this is just like the opening line. Sometimes I'll even post the look ahead line that they post like a week in advance in parentheses before the slash there. Just so you know, that's how I read it. So this is like the first line that you see coming out from the sports books. The opening lines or the look ahead lines. Then it moved to -1 on level 1 money. And like I said before, it not all money reaches level 1 money. I mean, there's a lot of money flying around all over the place. I mean, for example,
if it's level 1, which is your lowest level, correct? Mm-hmm. But it is on your radar. That's what you're saying. There's 100 other events I could be looking at, but this one hit my radar. So it has some significance to it.
Yes, it does have some significance to it. And
that helps me.
Even if there is a lot of money being played on a game, it doesn't mean it's always necessarily significant. Only when I put like level 1 to level 5, it's significant. And this is just a grading system I use. I use the same formula. I have different formulas like for different things. Like, for example, like in NFL playoffs, it's a lot harder to reach level 1 money than it would be for a regular in-season game. So you have to also adjust your metrics for what's going on around you in the games. So, okay, it goes to -1 at level 1 money, and then it goes to plus 1.5 on level. I didn't put a number there. Let me.
Plus 1.5 on level. Yeah.
Yeah, it's levels. Well, either way, it's important for you to go back and look at these throughout the day and continuously track them, because these are just the first few hours, or first few days ahead of the game, or first few hours in the morning where I'm tracking it up until I'm not tracking it all the way up until game time. And sometimes when it's game time, the money can flip all over the place. So it's important for everyone to not just like go off of what I'm putting on there, but to keep tracking it yourself, because there's a lot of things that could happen. And sometimes a lot of money comes in right before the games and the lines move significantly. And that's what you need to pay attention to. So
All right,
here in this game, like Vegas is clearly, they went to -1, but then they clearly went back to their original opening position here. To me, this says that their original opening position is tight. I want to keep my eye on this, see if it builds to like level 2 money, level 3 money, and also, do they push it to +2? Or do they push it back to -1? Or do they push it to -1.5? I mean, these are all things that you need to look for so that you could see like how Vegas is reacting to the money.
All right, let's take a break and smoke a joint with the kid here. You can.
I'm down.
All right, Callie Rose.
Hi.
Hey, thanks for coming on our podcast.
Yeah, most definitely.
Time to smoke a joint.
I told Ari we'd take a break. What's up, kid? How's life?
It's cold in Oklahoma.
Yeah.
Probably not super cold to you, but it's cold to me.
All right. So, did you watch any of the football games last night?
I watched the
Or
Packers and
yesterday?
the 49ers game.
What was your thoughts?
I was sitting on the edge of my couch and I was like, this is a football game, not a boxing match. Can we please play football?
Oh, yeah, they did get a little chippy, honey. You got to watch a little football today?
And then I had some friends come over for dinner, and so we stopped watching it. I got distracted from watching it.
Oh.
Then
Well, that's embarrassing.
I woke up this morning and watched the highlights.
Nice. Well, I love you. I hope you have a good Sunday, babe.
Thanks, Dad. You too.
All right. Bye. Sorry about that. All right. Go ahead, Ariel.
Oh, I loved having her on. She could come back on whenever she feels like it. I love it. It's a cannabis vibe, and that's what our podcast is about. A little bit of cannabis, a little bit of cannabis education, lots of sports banter.
So,
Okay.
And then we moved down to Georgia versus number 8 Kentucky. Spread Kentucky -10.5 in parentheses. So that would be a look ahead.
Yeah.
Look ahead at a -11.5. So it's moved one.
But the official opening line was -10.5.
Okay.
And then it moved out to -14 on level 1 money. So Vegas is reacting to the money here. They're starting to react. This is something I want to keep my eye on. But I mean, it moved from -10.5 to -14, meaning that they're becoming more of a favorite. And with the money supporting it, Vegas is pushing out the line.
Okay.
But I would say keep tracking this, because it doesn't mean just because there's money here now doesn't mean that the money isn't going to disappear. And it doesn't mean that Vegas isn't going to change the line from -14 to something else. They might pull it back to -10.5. And then I would probably say, maybe a game that I might pass on.
So, Ari, when you say the money might disappear, tell me what that means.
This means that the money is no longer significant anymore. It no longer hits my minimum threshold for making it significant. So, I mean, there could be a lot of money, but if it becomes like a mixture of Joe and pro money, and it goes really all over the board, it disappears. It doesn't quite meet the threshold anymore, and then I can't.
So if you got, say, $100,000 of pro money on a side, let's pretend on Kentucky, and you're like, yo, that looks like a pretty good play to Kentucky, and then you get $100,000 Joe money. So you get $100,000 on Tuesday. This game's on Thursday. You get $100,000 on Monday from pros, and you're like, this is a good play. And then you get $200,000 from Joe's on Tuesday on the other side. Does that is that making money disappear? Is that what you're talking about? Like it gets to too balanced?
Well, I would say, okay, this is a really interesting question. Okay, I would say like the Joes aren't typically going to play $200,000 versus like the pros, because the pros, I mean, what people don't understand is like at the average sports book, there's a lot of people out there.
Uh-huh.
Think about everyone just betting $20 on their phone. They're like $20, and
Me.
that's a bet.
That's me.
And that's great. And there's a lot of people doing that out there. But suddenly you take 10, 20, 50 people that are the true pros, and each of them are betting $10,000, $20,000 on a game. That significantly outweighs all the people that are betting 10 or 20 bucks on a game.
Takes a lot of Joes to make up for that.
Exactly. So, I mean, typically, like, you're not going to see the Joes, except, in games like the Super Bowl or the playoffs when there's a lot of Joe money. I mean, there are instances where there's a lot of Joe money going around and you can't always identify where the pro money is.
Oh, there is right now, right? Because it's the playoffs. I mean, I've been hit up personally multiple times on how do I sign up for a sports book to put $5 on this?
Oh, really?
Because people get excited about the playoffs. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. I mean, people do get excited about the playoffs. And I mean, I feel like the Super Bowl is the worst for that. Like the Super Bowl is.
And this is where the pros are like, yeah, I take this is the weekend I take off.
Exactly.
And this is the weekend that every Joe's like, I need to get my $5 on that Texans team, on that Green Bay team. They're better than what you think.
And typically in those games, Las Vegas really is trying to balance the sides because their numbers are already so tight. Like during the playoffs, Las Vegas gets very accurate and tight with, oh, hey, we're seeing us twice.
Oh, sorry.
Like during the playoffs, Vegas gets very accurate and tight to their lines that they initially set. And I mean, we even saw that last night in the Texans-Ravens game. I mean, the over-under number was very tight to like the final score. Yeah. To the point where it really was down to the last 2 minutes. And it was like, oh my God, what's going to happen? Enough of these commercial breaks. That was me, at least. I was like, play the game. And the Super Bowl, I mean, you have so many people from all over the country starting to play for the first time, or during the playoffs, it's their first time playing. So you have so much more Joe money. So it really does start to outweigh the pros at that kind of point. But I mean, if everyone is leaning in a certain direction and Vegas is leaning with everyone in a certain direction, you know where to take your stands. And
or when Vegas isn't leaning, everybody's on the side of Vegas like, we don't care.
Yeah, it's like last night. Everyone was leaning towards the over in the San Francisco game, and everyone was leaning it. The Joes were leaning all the money was on the over, but Vegas, they were holding that line at 50.5.
They were bullish.
They were not moving it at all. It opened at 50.5. They were not moving it. They're like, we're not gonna budge, even though all of the money was on the over. To me, this said Vegas knows this is an underplay. Yeah. And they're holding this line tight. So that's why
that was easy for you to see. That was easy for you to see, but all those people couldn't see it.
Exactly. All those people couldn't see it because, I mean, I get it, like as a sports fan, you want everything to go over. I mean, you want all your props and people to perform better than, what's listed. And, everyone has that like high hope for everything. And I get it, like you want everyone to perform better than what the prop says that they will perform at, whatever the Vegas puts out the lines at. So
Ari, if you saw my prop betting, you'd punch me in the face and then say, Chris, you stupid little man.
Oh no.
It is way harder to get 9 receptions than it is to not get 9 receptions.
Exactly. Exactly. And that's why I play a lot of unders. And like we said a few podcasts ago, I mean, the unders hit 70% of the time and
Yeah,
props versus the
which is
over,
better
which
than
hit 30% of the time. I
yeah,
mean,
better.
statistically speaking, you just have to do the math. And the one thing about wagering, like I saw before even the San Francisco game last night with all the Fox commentators is, even with wagering, it's not so much about like your passion for the teams or your love for the players. It's really about the numbers and what they have proven that they could perform in the past, and also using predictive analytics to predict basically how they're going to play tonight.
Vegas is tight in the playoffs. That's what I'm learning.
Yeah.
Much
Yeah,
harder.
Vegas is very tight in the playoffs. The Super Bowl, it's I mean, I don't know,
Vegas
is
makes a
Vegas
lot of
going
money.
to make enough? Is Vegas going to take a stance during the Super Bowl? I mean, it's hard to say. And if they don't take a stance, I'm going to watch the game. I'm going to have fun enjoying the game, rooting for everyone to perform their best. But I don't necessarily have to play the game if Las Vegas is really not taking a particular stance. So
That's fair.
yeah. I'll be right back.
Yep.
But
Like that
I'll be back in a
2-minute break. Absolutely, Ari.
Okay.
I'll go through the comments here. Like that the 2-minute break. And then I've got my whole family watching the game last night, and they can't understand why sometimes when they go out of bounds the clock doesn't stop and sometimes it does. That's a whole conversation. Clear by signals when they didn't move. Yeah, I'm under already starting to teach me how not really betting teams, just betting with Vegas. Doesn't really matter who the team is, just because it. Yep. Do you think Chuck chat? Do you think sometimes these guys at the Vision Network or whatever VSIN, I don't even know what the networks actually is, Vision Network. But a lot of these betting shows, you think the books tell them to lie? Do you think they get a script? Playoffs, you never know. That's right. Chris, how many times will Usher? Boy, this is an Eric question. Eric dives really deep every year into these player props on Super Bowl and has a great time with it. He's the mad scientist in the in the prop laboratory, we call it. He'll be diving in there pretty soon. I know he knows Reba singing the national anthem. He's been researching her on other places that she sung it. They didn't get hired if they let me see. They don't get hired if they don't tie into the book agenda. Oh. Yeah, I didn't know that. Like I said, we're new to the podcast media kind of time. We've only been in this doing this for about 2 years, 3 years now. We did when we started, we just did podcast Patriot Sports Radio. That was our original podcast that me, Eric, and the coach started. And it was more it wasn't a betting show as much as it was just us getting on the microphones and talking sports that wasn't a bunch of talking heads feeding us curated bullshit, shoving it up our butts. So we started our own thing. And then Eric's always been a bit of a degenerate. He loves betting Eastern European hockey. That's his best leagues over there. He's really good. Korean baseball, phenomenal at Korean baseball. It's kind of magical to watch him on the overseas stuff. He gets really good. I don't know if he just finds the good offshore books that are lackadaisical, and cricket too. He can get into a little cricket. Anyways,
What are we talking about? Sorry.
well, first I was kind of curious because Chuck's right about like VSIN network and all these all these betting networks. They tie into the sports book and they have a curated agenda that they're feeding their fans on what to bet, what not to bet, blah, blah, blah.
Exactly. I feel that way a lot because
And then
I've
he said, DraftKings is the real monster there, and that has got to be true. Because guess what? There's two companies that are in your DMs the minute you start a podcast. That's DraftKings and Underdog.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Yeah. They used
DraftKings
DraftKings numbers and Arrow provided last year. They flip numbers. What does that mean when they flip numbers?
It's true. I actually I was talking to I mean a lot of people wrote me last year as I first started my email list, and I was going on a little bit of a rant, I guess you could say, about VSIN. And a lot of people who were genuinely curious about this, like Chuck, wrote me and asked me, like why do you not like VSIN that much, and why are you kind of going on a rampage here, which I understand. And the truth is because I looked at the numbers that they were providing people. Like, for example, I always tell my people on here, like, look at where the money is going and look at how Vegas is reacting to it. I say that 1,000 times a day, I mean, this is my thing. This is how I've been able to attain huge, massive ROI in the NFL that's literally unheard of in Vegas, unheard of across the country. 40+%. People don't get that. You don't just get there overnight. I mean, I use a system, and the system is looking at the money and looking at how Las Vegas is reacting to it. And when I looked at, like, for example, the betting splits on VSIN, and you see where the money is going, it doesn't match at all any of the other sports books betting splits. Like, I mean, there's you could pull the numbers from Caesars and MGM and FanDuel and everywhere. I mean, you could pull these numbers from everywhere, and I'll show you their betting splits, and pretty much they all kind of like follow the same patterns, except VSIN was like completely flipped. And that was the number that they're pulling from DraftKings. So to me, it seems like, how can only one place be completely flipped on their numbers versus every other place? It didn't make any sense to me. So to me, that I mean, I've been in conversations with VSIN, and I kind of showed them what they were doing, and that's when they had to put up the big, subscribe only ad wall, paywalls, and everything, after I literally kind of pointed out some of the mistakes that they were making. So I don't really to keep me from pointing out more mistakes, probably.
Yeah. Now she's gonna point her mistakes out. She's gonna have to buy it.
Yeah, and I'm like, why would I buy something that's giving people wrong information? And
bad information.
To me, it's abhorrent that you could make people pay for bad information and incorrect information.
So is that just a phenomenal is that just great marketing if they're selling a bad product, or does the public not have a product to turn to yet that's a good product, so that's just what you're stuck with is bad meat?
No, there's so many good products out there. I mean,
so how do they win?
How does the public win?
How does VSIN staying in business? See, it's marketing, or how do they stay in business? People don't know that they're bad information. They don't know it's bad information.
They don't know it's bad information. And that was last year when my baseball ROI started crashing. Like I really had like 2 weeks where I was using another resource to get all of my, where the money is flowing kind of information. And that resource underwent a huge change. So I switched to VSIN because I had everyone on TikTok and all over, the sports books telling me, like, check out VSIN. And I checked them out, and I mean, really, it's bad information. So all I could say is, like, of course they have like a continuous stream of people because they're tied into FanDuel, and they've been a well-known name in the industry for so long, and marketing. But unless you actually like compare your resources to other resources, like, you don't know if you're getting bad information or good information. You really have to evaluate things before you go down the rabbit hole with them.
Boy, Chuck is right. Tyler Lue and everybody, well, the whole chat was talking about how the news media, now ESPN is the book and the news media. And then Chuck says, not to mention the NFL is buying in. That just ruins things. It just, you can't, I don't know this to be for sure, but in my life, I wager on sports because I have a perception that it's not fixed. If I had a perception that sports was fixed, then I wouldn't bet on it. So the perception has to be correct, and they're starting to blur lines that are going to fuck some perceptions up. I believe.
Yeah, I mean, there's already so many people that are always commenting and writing me in my videos saying this game is fixed, and
it's a script.
I mean, it's a script. Oh, all the time. I mean, if you were on TikTok, you would get literally 10,000 comments like these, plus, I don't know, a zillion more. And I mean, I think the thing is like, I mean, everything can't always be a script. You know, everyone wants to say it's all a script, but at the end of the day, like, these teams, I mean, they're all playing to win, and that's what they're trained to do. And these kids have been playing since they were in elementary school. I mean, they're not going to purposely lose to make themselves. I mean, I heard that all day yesterday after the 49ers played. Like,
I think that here's the deal. The NFL, I do not believe that the NFL is scripted. I believe that everybody goes out there and plays to win the game. Do I think there could be a bad actor here and there? That somebody gets a hold
Absolutely.
of but that's anything. So that's been like that from the dawn of time. So since we stepped foot on the planet and started betting on they were probably betting in the Roman times. This has been happening. So that's not a deal. I'm not worried about that. We weed that out as we find it. You can't, you don't punish the masses over that. But what I think is, what's it say? Sorry, I lost my train of thought. I apologize. But
I agree with you. I mean, the players aren't allowed to bet.
Bad actors, but what is scripted, or what could be scripted, and I believe the chat is telling us is scripted, is the book and the mainstream media, right? It's almost like, not to get too political, the government and our news mainstream media, the book, the government over betting, right? They kind of run shit. And the mainstream media get together. That's a real bad day for the masses. That means everybody, you can win a little bit, lose a little bit, but you're never going to beat the book. Maybe you're never going to beat the book. That's maybe the wrong way to look at it. Maybe we just want to win with the book. That's kind of what Ariel does, I believe.
That is exactly what I do. I mean, that's my entire strategy. I mean, that's how I have a 40+% ROI, a 32+% ROI in the NFL last year. I mean, the reason I've been able to do so well consistently across even multiple leagues, like baseball, I had 34% ROI. I mean, the reason I've been able to do so well consistently is because I play with the book. And I mean, growing up in Vegas, always, my entire family, 3 generations of native Las Vegans. I mean, you know, 3 generations.
Well,
it was, you know, don't gamble because the house is always going to win. Don't gamble because the house is going to win. Some people's households, their parents said, look twice before you cross the street. Mine said, don't gamble because the house is always going to win. But my mindset really only changed when I was out of high school and I started learning about game theory, when I realized this isn't a zero-sum game. The house isn't always going to win if you could play with the house.
Yes. Number one, just from an AI standpoint that I'm starting to learn, you're behind the 8 ball. So far behind the 8 ball. If you're not tuning in to somebody like Ari that's ahead of this technology, or at least on pace with it, and understands the data that's being put into her head, and then understands how to compute that, then you're so far fucking behind right now.
I mean, exactly. Everyone's using AWS computer services. That's Amazon Web Services. And I mean, the thing is they're tracking this down to like the millisecond. I mean, they're picking up the exact location of everyone and everything on the fields 60
In
times a
real time.
second. And you don't have to take my word for it. 60 times a second. Go watch the AWS and NFL or NHL podcasts that are available for everyone on Twitch on the AWS services. They're all out there. They're all available. Anyone could go watch this and learn about this. What I'm saying isn't proprietary information. Anyone could go watch the live streams and learn how exactly the sports books are using and implementing data and how many simulations they're running of the game. I mean, it's literally hundreds of thousands of simulations they're running
In seconds.
before game time in seconds. I mean, we could maybe run, I mean, even the best of us, even a person with a 200 IQ could maybe run, I don't know, 7 simulations of the game, but you're not running 100,000 simulations of the game. You know what I'm saying?
Amazon is changing the world of sports betting for sure. And the way we watch games, not just bet them, but how we see them on TV, how we perceive them, and our perception of what we're looking at. It's gonna change.
Exactly, and that's why they're able to offer all those services like you described earlier, all the statistics to really make it a more interesting storyline. And storyline is part of it, but the other part of it is the data. And when you learn how your data is being collected and processed, and I mean, you realize this is insane. And even with the best AI sports wagering bot in the world, it's only good if it could play with the house, because the house is always going to have an advantage that the average person couldn't possibly have, because they're just not collecting the data literally in real time right off of the court.
The other thing that Amazon's doing is drawing new eyes in, which for my house was the Nickelodeon version of football. That's when my youngest one came down and wanted to start to play fantasy football. And she's talking stats. And she's like, oh, he's going to get slimed. I'm like, what is she talking about? Well, I guess when you score a touchdown, you get slimed on this other channel that Amazon has out, that they partner with Nickelodeon. And now
that's how
she got into and then now she's into the football. Now she watches it regular with me, but that's how it started, was the Nickelodeon when Amazon came out, or I believe it was Amazon. Whoever did the Nickelodeon was a genius to get another generation on. Because
that
when
is
they scored,
actually
the slime
brilliant.
came down on their head, and it was just like watching Nickelodeon. It was all goofy. The players would be running, and then their head would pop out with eyes, and they'd be like, it was like cartoon. It was
I really like
the whole
that.
game like that.
That's really cool, because I used to watch Nickelodeon back in the day myself, but they weren't even tied into sports like that before. It was just artists and celebrities, and now it's really turned into this whole thing to incorporate influencers and sports and younger people. So I think that's really cool.
Let's shout out Craig still in the chat. Chuck's sure an offensive lineman might want the QB hit for some reason, whatever happens all the time, really. Yeah, no, that's right. So that's all part of gambling. That's why they call it gambling and not winning all the time, because you never absolutely know. Buku, Patriots in the house. What up? What's up, brother? Buku's in the house. He's going to want to talk some hockey. I can tell you that right now. Bingo, Chuck. Anyway, so Amazon is just absolutely crushing the AI front.
They are, and
that AWS is good. Yeah, they lose money on their products. I swear, the products is a front for what they actually do.
Well, I mean, the products division is losing money, and the AWS web services and data is making money. I mean, that's what's supporting Amazon's business. And I mean, this is all publicly available information. Anyone could go read this.
Early hockey Flyers money line, Wild Canes over 6.5. I'll put that in right now. Hang on. Let me get this in really quick, Ari. You take over.
Okay.
How do you feel about Craig Lennox says, how do you feel about Bet 360? They're big as well. Do you know them, Ari?
Yeah, I know them. I've heard of them. I haven't really gone as in depth with them as I have with checking out other sources, other books. But they seem pretty good. So I think really to me, what's important is line shopping. So you need to find the best odds wherever you could get them. And certain sports books, like in Las Vegas in particular, there is one sports book in Vegas that you don't really have in the rest of the country, but they're running a lot of ads. They're called STN. And they always move faster and their lines are always tighter and their odds are always, just kind of like here are the odds versus the other sports books. So when they move, you could see like, okay, this is how they feel about the game. And usually they have better, they make better decisions earlier than other sports books. So when you see that happen, you could go to another sports books and still get the original better odds and better line. So this is something you should watch out for. And you should always be looking at different sports books and what the odds and what the lines are so you could really get the best value.
Yeah. All right.
So should I talk about my props for the Lions game?
Let's get into it.
Okay. So like I said earlier, the spread, it opened up at -6. It pushed out to -6.5 on level 1 money. The money has since disappeared. It's sitting at -6. I'm personally not playing the spread. The total opened at 48.5. There was level 1 money on the over. It pushed out to 50.5. But then it went down to 48.5 on level 1 money, 49.5 on level 1 money, and now the money is gone. It disappeared. So I don't really like the total or the spread in this game. So I only like 2 props. So here we go.
This is like an off weekend for you too. So you're with Chuck. Like there's not a bunch of stuff to love here.
Yeah, and especially because of the playoffs, you have to really do your numbers differently. So for me, like what would normally be like level 4 money in a regular season week, is now level 1 money in like a playoff week.
Okay, because there's so much more money coming in because
exactly.
Now the husband and the wife are betting because it's playoffs.
Exactly. And there's so many more people betting for the first time, and there's a lot of Joe money flying around. That's why like you also have to evaluate and make sure that your strategy is good for the games that are happening around you. I mean, and that's why today I just like 2 props in here. I like Goff over 1.5 rushing yards. 3 props, my bad. Over 1.5 rushing yards. And I also like him to go under 282.5 passing yards today. I also like Baker Mayfield under 36.5 passing attempts. I mean, there is what's really interesting this weekend in particular is there's more prop money being bet this weekend than ever before, like in history.
Wow.
And Chris, what I think you could do is like maybe explain how these prop numbers are derived. Like yesterday I played CJ Stroud -110 to go over 1.5 rushing yards. That went over in the first 5 plays. So like, for example, if Stroud runs 9 yards and then he gets sacked twice, -10 yards. I mean, does that count against his running total?
Yes, I believe so. When it comes to prop betting, I wish Eric was here because he is our prop master.
Yeah, I mean,
he really understands the props.
I know that. I mean, so I've looked. I mean, I feel like there's so many people here that need to understand how these props work, what the numbers mean, and really what it means during the game time too. Because if he was tackled behind a line of scrimmage, he loses yards in this prop.
He says Buku says no. Sacks count against team passing yards. So the total in passing yards is what sacks counts against. But negative yardage on a run like CMC over 102, but he took a 12-yard loss. Is that minus 12 off of the prop? Is every book the same? I believe it does.
Yeah, every book's the same, but
it does in fantasy football. I do know that.
Yeah, and this is interesting for bettors to know, like how, I mean, a lot of first-time bettors, I'm sure, are coming to this podcast and going, like what do my prop pays look like in game time, and how are they being affected? Like, like if you catch a pass but get tackled behind the line of scrimmage, does that pass count as a catch? This might be something that people are wondering. What would you say?
Say that again. Sorry, Cricket was saying if he's going to jump in.
Oh, cool. I hope he does.
Yeah, I think he is going to. They just ended the Sports Morning Espresso. I believe that show ran long.
It did.
So you got, sorry, what was your Baker Mayfield bet? I got to get this.
Baker Mayfield under 36.5 passing attempts. Yeah. Okay, 3 props in this game.
You always get better odds. So is it better to bet early or bet late? Because I got 34.5 at our book, or all the books is just different. Where do you pull your lines, Ari?
I pull my lines in the morning every day from typically from Action, but I also could pull it straight from it's called oh my gosh, I'm forgetting the name of it real quick, but it's another API service, and it also gives you all of the lines, all of the books, and it shows you like how they compare to each other.
Yeah.
So if I wanted to do things a little more in an automated kind of way for sports betting, that's how I would do it too.
Absolutely. I think Cricket is going to jump on. He said he was, I believe. Other than that, what other games do you like today? If we're not betting the NFL,
what other games do I like today? Right now, I'm still kind of watching and waiting because we still have time until game time. But we didn't even talk about the Chiefs versus Bills game today.
Oh yeah, duh. So I'm off track. I've got 17 different texts going.
It's all good. Okay.
Let's move on to that game then.
So in this game, the spread on Buffalo hasn't gone anywhere since the opening. It opened up at -2.5, and it's still sitting there. Last time I checked, I think it still is. So to me, there isn't really any significant play, and there's no money that has reached a significant level according to my formula yet. The total opened up here at 46.5. The look-ahead line was at 46. It went to 46.5. It went to 45.5. It went to 46.5. It went back to 45.5. And now there's level 2 money on the under. So this is interesting, but it's still not rising to the level of a play yet for me. If Vegas keeps moving the line down and the money keeps, pushing the under, I think this is going to be something that I consider. But right now, this is still not a play for me, and I'm not going to be playing the spread or the total in this game. I do like 2 props. I like James Cook over 15.5 receiving yards, and I like Rice under 6.5 receptions. So I have 5 props today, but no plays on the spreads or totals.
You can make money on 5 props, ladies and gentlemen. Make money there.
Yeah. I mean, the props are fun, and we already know more people are betting props today than ever before.
Yes, absolutely. And underdog, I mean, they get after. That's how I set my underdog lineups is we kind of go to the book and look at the book. Uh-oh. There he is. Now we can get somebody that actually knows how to talk on a damn microphone. I wasn't built to host the show. What's up, Cricket? How you doing,
Hey,
brother?
Cricket.
How y'all doing this morning? Good morning. Good morning. My bad. We ran a little longer than I expected. What's going on with E, man? You got some technical difficulties going on?
No. It's vocal difficulties and knowledge difficulties, but you bring both of those. The technical side I was good at.
My man.
It's the whole let's talking sports shit.
I understand, man. Where y'all at?
I'm more of the pop in and just say some crazy shit here and there and make sure everything's running smooth.
I understand, sir. There ain't nothing wrong with that. Everybody needs those kind of guys, man. You got to have those people right there.
I have a producer. Got to get it to the internet.
I understand, sir. I understand. Provide that product. Well, what's going on this morning? How'd you do yesterday, Ari?
Buccaneers.
Man, I'm a little.
It's Waken and Bacon and Rake.
I do. I understand. So y'all talk about the Bucks and the Lions. Well, kind of anxious to hear your thoughts on this, man. You know, my Bucks it's been a good season, but I'm pretty heavy on the Lions this week, man. I just feel like a tough spot for my Buccaneers. I think the key matchup's probably going to be the Buccaneers run defense against that Detroit running game. That Detroit run offense has been top 5 all year long. Bucks defense against the run has been top 5 all year long. So that's going to be a key matchup for me today, is if the Bucks can really slow down that running game, maybe apply some pressure on Jared Goff, make him beat you with your arm, try to force him into some mistakes right there. But that's what the Bucks are going to have to do to really have a chance in this thing. I don't feel great about it, man. I don't. It just feels like it's a tall task to ask the Bucks to go up here. You know, Detroit gets that win, first home or first playoff win in 30 years last week. Get that monkey off your back right there. Now you get to host a divisional round game for the first time since 91. So it feels like, you know, that place is going to be rocking. That building's going to be hyped today. And the Bucks got to come in, really kind of smack them in the mouth early and try not to fall into a hole. Because I think if they get in a hole, they're going to have a hard time climbing out of that thing. But I'm not, you know, I'll be okay if the Bucks win. I'm willing to sacrifice my bet for a Bucks win right here. But as far as my money goes, I'm putting it on the Lions today, man.
So I'm in the same spot as I was last night, right? As you are today. Like I don't expect the Bucks to win. They got a chip in a chair, right? You got a chip in a chair, you got a spot. Hey, Baker Mayfield, if they come out, the Lions just play good defense, run the football, hit the Sunshine Kid down the field here and there, they're going to be just fine. But if you allow Baker to hang around, don't want to be within a score in the fourth quarter with Baker Mayfield, because he does have a bit of that stuff that Tim Tebow, but with talent, that intangible that you can't really teach. Something comes out in him, that alpha comes out in him, and he comes into a tiger. But if he's down, you're all right.
It's hard, like you know, kind of like the Packers last night. These teams like this that you're supposed to beat, you're supposed to handle business. You got to be real careful letting them hang around and give them that confidence. And they start to believe. The longer they're in that game, they start to believe right there. These guys are all pros, all super talented guys. You know, they're obviously, when you get to this stage of the playoffs, everybody knows how to play a little bit of football right here. And if you let those teams hang around, they start to believe just a little bit. And Baker's one of those guys you don't want to do that to.
No,
at all.
He's been doing that. He's been doing that since he was in college. Nobody believes in him.
Bro,
and then
I watched that firsthand. Buddy, I saw that right with my own eyes up in Neyland Stadium back in 2000. Was it 15 or 16? It all runs together now. But, yeah, we whipped them for 3 quarters. Baker, I think they were like 1 of 12 on third downs. And then he came out and was like 9 of 11 in the fourth quarter on third downs and stuff, and just broke our hearts in overtime. Yeah, that was a painful, man. So I've seen that firsthand. And now I'm hoping maybe he'll give a little bit of it back to me. Maybe he'll give me one of those today on my side with this thing.
Hey, you deserve that. You deserve that.
I feel like I do deserve that, man. I do. All right, I'm a little curious. Go ahead. I'm curious what the money's done on this thing. What's the money doing on this thing out in Vegas? Is there a bunch of money? No money? How's it going on this thing?
Oh, go ahead.
Whew. Okay. There was a little bit of money initially on the Lions when, right after opening, it was still at -6 with level 2 money. And as I already said on this podcast, not all money is significant. This had to reach the minimum threshold of level 2 money. It went to -6.5 on level 1 money. Then the money disappeared, and now it's at -6. So to me, I'm staying away from it. And Las Vegas is holding the line back at the original opening line. So they moved it a little bit, only half a point, and now it's back to where they opened. So I think Vegas thinks this is a very, very tight line here. I'm personally staying away from this. On a total here, it opened up at 48 and a half. It went, there was level 1 money on the over. Then it moved to 50 and a half with level 1 money. Then it went back to 48 and a half on level 1 money, 49 and a half on level 1 money. And now the money's disappeared. So Vegas moved it a point. But to me, this is still not significant because the money's not there. I think Vegas might have just been making a minor correction.
Right.
But to me, when all of the money has kind of disappeared like this, I'm just waiting and watching to see what Las Vegas does. If they keep moving it up, keep moving the total up, this might be and the money follows also. This might be a play on the over, but this is still like a wait and see kind of thing for me today. For the props here, I like Goff over 1.5 rushing yards.
Okay.
Sorry.
You like the over on that. That's a bold play right there.
Yeah, and I also like Goff under 282 and a half passing yards.
Okay.
And Mayfield. Oh, sorry.
No, I'm sorry. Go ahead. I interrupted you. I'm sorry.
Mayfield under 36 and a half passing attempts.
I like that too because I think that if Tampa Bay is going to win this game, I don't think they're going to get beat by Baker or not going to do it with Baker's arm. I feel like they're going to have to kind of establish that running game, so maybe get Rashad White rolling. I don't think they're going to. I think that Lions front seven on the defensive side is pretty good too. It just feels like a tough spot. I'm with you. I don't see Baker getting to that many passing attempts today. If he does, I feel like it's a real bad day for the Buccaneers right there. And talk about that total. What's so weird about that thing to me is there hasn't been a Buccaneers total higher than 45 this year. When the line wound up closing on total, it hadn't been one higher than 45 all year long. And now you got this one all the way up there around 48 and a half, 49 and stuff. It just feels a little funny to me. So, yeah, I'm on the over in this thing. And but I think the Lions, I can't get it out of my head that the Lions are really going to handle business today. What's your question on the QB prop rushing yards there? What's going on there?
So, QB rushing yards. If a QB takes a sack, does that take away from his rushing yards?
It does not. It takes away on the now if it's a designed run, like if he's going to run a read option or something like that, and it's really up to the judgment of whoever makes those calls, which I always think is kind of weird too. But sacks actually take away from the team passing yards. Doesn't take away
That's what
from
Buku said.
Yeah, it doesn't take away from your overall passing yard like the quarterback. He's not going to lose yards of that, but at the little category that says team passing yards at the end, You'll notice that'll be different than his passing yardage because they take away the sack yardage from that, which I think is weird. It doesn't really make a lot of sense to me, but that's the way they do it.
Mm-hmm. I like covering these topics, especially for people who are new to this and new to sports betting, because I think this really helps inform the public. Like, this is what is, happening with your bet. This is what you need to be watching out for in the game to make sure your plays hit.
Absolutely.
Who's louder? Ravens? Lions? Ravens were loud.
So loud. That was such a loud game.
Oh my God.
I mean, even
you, Craig.
even the commentators are saying, wow, this is loud the whole game.
Yeah, man, rocking in there. I feel like that Ravens Stadium too is kind of underrated. You talk about some of the bigger stadiums, the more like home field advantage type stadiums in the league. You don't hear the Ravens get mentioned a whole lot, man. That place was rocking yesterday, bro. This is the first time they've ever hosted an AFC Championship game. That blows my mind.
Really?
Yeah. You think about all those teams, the Super Bowl teams, the Ray Lewis, the Terrell Suggs, even that team back in 2012, all that. Think about those things. I'm like, how did you never host an AFC Championship? I guess because usually when they're the one seed, they blow it.
Cricket coming in like Brady in the second half. You're goddamn right.
My man. Good morning to you, sir. Good morning to you. That's what I was saying. Was he the one having technical difficulties this morning?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry. Yeah.
I got you. Yeah, that line moved a little bit. Like I said, crept up to the half point to 6.5. Then I started watching it then it went back down. I think you're right, Ar. I think it's just Vegas kind of like, I'm just trying to get the money on both sides just to try to ensure that profit. And I'm not really going to take a stand on anything right here because it could go either way. Playoff football in the NFL is crazy anyway. So,
and there's more Joes coming in and playing than ever. I mean, they're all coming in making bets. So
they hadn't bet all year long, and they're just jumping in here now, and they want to fire the playoffs because there's nothing else on to watch and stuff. Like, you do get a lot of money.
It's not just Joe; it's Jane, his wife's doing it too.
Yeah, Jane, Jim, Bob,
because it's legal. And it's on your Facebook feed. Every third goddamn fucking scroll is a DraftKings bet, $1 to win $1 million. Blah blah blah. So it's too easy.
In these big events like this, though, like playoffs, Super Bowls, World Series, NBA Final, all that different stuff, you're going to see a lot more action coming on that stuff because of the Joes and things like that don't bet all year long but want to have some skin in the game. You really got to pay attention to the way that money moves based on the way some of that money comes in, because a lot of those people will push a lot. They'll put a lot of money on it early on in the week or whatever, but a lot of that money, you see your sharps and things like that tend to kind of wait around in these spots to see what the money's going to do throughout the week. And that's how a lot of those guys are going to make their plays and their judgment on the game, just based off some of that money coming in, because Vegas don't miss much, man. And if they miss, they don't miss by a lot.
Exactly.
Go ahead, Ariel. Sorry.
Oh, no. You go first.
I was going to say, you know what I learned this weekend? That sometimes the sharps wait around so much that they just say, this isn't the weekend.
That's
I learned
the key,
that
dude.
this weekend. I learned this is the two things. I just said this earlier. I'll tell you, Cricket. The day my dad told me Santa Claus wasn't real, and the day my buddy that's a sharp, just told me, I'm just going to sit this one out. After 40 years of wagering, when the weekends just to sit down and enjoy them. I was like, what? What does that even mean?
I envy Ari the most about the fact she's got that discipline to stay away sometimes, because I'm sitting there.
That's how you have a 40% ROI.
Yeah, that's exactly right. You got to have that discipline to be able to stay away and know when it's a bad spot. And most of us degenerates out there, man, we like to have some skin in that game. It's kind of hard to watch them without some skin in the game. So I respect you big time for that.
You don't have $50 on the backup if he's going to come out and run a trick flea flicker in the fourth. I got 50 riding on that.
I started to say, now don't get me wrong. You're a little crazier than I am. You are a little crazier than I am. Just because I got some skin in the game, it may not be as much as you, and it may not be as many different ways as you have it there. You do get a little crazy with them parlays. We're going to get you off of that, though. We're going to talk you down out of it.
I used to just be like, I'd bet $5 on the Packers spread, and then put $800 on the 27-leg parlay that I put together. But since I've met you guys, I've made a complete 180.
I'm glad you have.
Here's a great plug for Cricket and Ari. Since we've been hanging out, I haven't deposited. That's all you need to know.
That's good to know, man. You're playing with their money.
Yeah, that's all you need to know. I haven't deposited.
That's great.
That's a big key, man. If you can keep them depositing right there, play on their money for a little while. Yeah, it still feels like you lose sometimes, but it's like, hey, when you end of the day, you're like, well, I just played with their money. Now, don't get me wrong, Chris. That don't mean we can't win, man. We just got to stay away from the 27-leg parlays, bro.
And if you really do want to play a parlay, like what I always say is play successive sizzler. Like, this is my new little term for it. I'm telling people how to get not just like one reward point that you normally get playing a parlay, but you're doing the same thing as a parlay, except you're cashing out even more and you're getting way more reward points. You're just betting on the games, and you take your first winnings and then you put it all in the next game, and then you take all of that game's winnings and you put it all in the next game and the next game and the next game, and then you're getting all the reward points and the same amount of money that you would be getting playing a parlay.
That's true. A lot of times you'll see these books where they're not going to give you the best odds. You usually get kind of screwed betting parlays. They're not going to give you the odds that should actually be in a lot of spots right there. It looks good. It looks pretty and all that. 10 to 1, 20 to 1, and so on like that. But if you bet 10 of those $5 a piece, you're still down $50 at the end of the day if you don't hit a single one.
Exactly. And oftentimes, like, if you actually bet them like, one after the other, I mean, you're still getting all of the fun that you would normally get from playing a parlay and watching your games like progress throughout the day. But you're also getting the reward points, like wherever you're betting is only giving you one reward point. But if you keep, you also have to be disciplined enough to take all of your winnings and put it on the next game, and take all of the winnings from that game and the game before and put it on the next game. And, are you going to end up putting down, $1,000, $10,000, whatever the number is that you're comfortable with on the last game, and bet it all. You also have to, find yourself and talk to yourself, like, as a wager, like, am I going to be the person that does it? Even though it's your money already in your pocket, but if you think about it, like, it's still the house money. And if you say that, you're right.
You
also have to decide.
You got to kind of trick your brain sometimes. You do got to trick yourself.
Yeah.
I've never seen a stat back when Christian McCaffrey had all those touchdowns in a row. If you'd have rolled it over, you'd have had like $500,000. But I'm like, who's betting $300K on a Christian McCaffrey anytime touchdown? That's where I'd have a hard time doing that.
Oh no. I watched a dude bet $500,000 yesterday all over and no one knew him. He lost $200K.
Oh
man. He could be. We just thought we were sick this morning. Boy, did y'all see that one Will shared? I know you did, Chris, where the guy had bet 56,000 on the 49ers money line to win like 11K or something. Now, he wound up winning it.
He almost
but
got
boy,
busted.
he had to sweat the whole time, didn't he?
Yeah, the whole time.
That was a rough one right there. Yeah, parlays and stuff. I usually I'm gonna, I don't really. I know you get up above really 4 teams. 4 teams is hard to hit, man. 3 teams is hard to hit. But if you get up above that, you really got to be careful. But if I'm doing the 3 and 4 teams, like I'm going to put the parlay in for probably quarter unit, half unit, depending on the odds. But I'm also going to bet a full unit on each pick individually because I can't tell you how many times I've gone 3 out of 4, things like that. And if you're betting them individually too, you can still secure a profit right there. Obviously not as good, but you're still at least heading in the right direction.
Says, good morning, everyone. What's up?
Hey, Arlacoste. Good morning, sir. Good morning. It's
Canada.
cold where he's at. He's up there in Canada with all that snow.
Yeah, Chuck is a sharp. Today is a good day to turn up the sound and watch.
That's right. That's right.
No doubt they'll cut you off. Chuck, hey, they cut Chuck off. They only let him. What did he say? I'm trying to find the. There was he something about 25%. They cut Chuck off at 25% now at the book or something.
Man. So what is your top? So you really like that over rushing yards on Jared Goff? That one scares me a little bit, Ari. Anytime I see him that low, I know it don't take much. He can fall down for 2 yards, right? I hope that. But then I usually see him have like 3 carries for negative 2 yards or something. It scares me to death.
Yeah, I'm just going off of the math here. For me, like this is the one that makes sense. There's good odds here. And just based off of how I run the numbers, this made sense for today. But I also like Baker Mayfield under 36.5 passing attempts. I think that's also a play.
Hey, is this real right here? Is this real? You could have a 14 leg progressive right now. You've been hitting every fucking week. If we'd have rolled it, we'd be laying on 2 million right now on an under. Jesus Christ. Could you lay 2 million on an under? Like morally, cricket
thing I've ever heard right there.
You know how many
unders I've lost this year that were like 7-3 at halftime, and they just come out and score 4 touchdowns in the third quarter or something and blow. So like, I would not ever feel good about that at any point until they put the money in the bank.
That's a lot of money.
I don't think I can watch
Last night was a good night for me after hitting both my plays. And I mean, of course, I had so many people come on my TikTok and, because.
Give you love.
Yeah. So many people give me love. I love that. But of course, a lot of people say, wrong. Girls don't know sports, like all that other, crap that you see out there.
Let them keep losing them with attitudes like that. Let them keep losing.
A lot of those
after last night, they all delete their comments.
Yeah,
that's right. Yeah. Look at them backpedaling right there. Bunch of keyboard heroes out there.
None of those motherfuckers could come on here and even fucking sniff your fucking feet talking about betting.
Yeah.
Literally. From a technical standpoint, they no way. They wouldn't.
They want to have mindsets like that. Just let them keep losing. Some people, you can lead a horse to water, but y'all know the rest.
I mean, those are the squares. I mean, those are the people that, it's not like we're taking money from the sports books by playing with a house.
No,
we're taking we're taking the money from the squares because the squares are always going to have to lose. And I mean, honestly, the thing about sports betting is a lot of people like losing, like it's not as, I mean, if you were winning all the time and you won every single game, like you would eventually get bored of it and you wouldn't want to play anymore.
Isn't that crazy?
You have to have that, like, I mean, it's part of gambling. You need that.
Yeah, you need that. That's kind of a great comment
ratio reinforcement. I mean,
absolutely. Yeah, you're right. It's funny to say because everybody's like, "Oh, I love winning. I'll always win." Yeah, it's easy to say, but it would get a little boring if you just won every time right there. And Super Fro, that's a good point, man. Truth, only bet what you're willing to lose. Absolutely, man. Gambling gets a bad rap a lot of times. Don't ever put yourself in a bind financially. Don't create problems in your family. Don't not pay the light bill or not have groceries in the refrigerator. Don't do all that stuff. And we do this for fun. We want to make money at it. We want to be able to grow our accounts and build it a little bit over time and all that. It's fun to hit those big ones, but don't ever put yourself in a bad spot financially or with your family or anything like that over sports betting. That's not what we do it for, man. We don't want to see anybody's lives ruined or anything like that. So yeah, Super Pro, always only bet what you are able to lose. Not even what you're willing to lose, but what you're able to lose right there. Don't put yourself in a bad spot, man.
Exactly. This is a hobby. This is a hobby for me. This should be a hobby for, I mean, I know cricket for you, this is a full-time, like this is your profession. But I mean, the truth is if you're just betting casually and you don't have the time to invest into it and really put the time into it that you would need, which would be, a full-time job. This should really be like what you're able to lose. Like you said, I think you put it so beautifully what you said there, what you're able to lose, not even what you're willing to lose, what you're able to lose and still take care of everything that needs to be taken care of.
And
exactly. We don't want to hear Go ahead, Chris.
One thing to realize that I didn't realize when I first started listening to betting podcasts, and they'd be like, "This is a 5-unit play." I'd be like, "Holy shit, these guys are probably laying millions of dollars!" And oh my god,
no.
When you're listening to us, I don't know about them, but when you're listening to us, when I say a 3-unit play, that's a huge play for me, and that's $15. I bet $5 per unit.
Yeah, man, and there ain't nothing wrong with that.
That's where that's my bankroll. That's what I'm playing with, and we're having fun. And you'll see me. I'll hit a big parlay, and I'll go. That's how I buy all my ARs. That's how my gun collection is what it is.
It's for your hobby
because we have fun. That's my hobby.
And you'll be very surprised. A lot of people think, well, I can't bet for $5 a game. I can't do this. There's no sweat for me or whatever. You'd be real surprised at how you sweat them same game parlays for $5 just as hard as you would if you put 50 on it. And hey, when you lose, you're only down 5. You can lose 10 of those and only be down what you would have been down if you lost the 1 right there. And you'll find that you wind up having more fun betting lower amounts because it's more enjoyable. Because even if you lose, you didn't put yourself in a bad spot.
Exactly. That was so well said. I mean, you aren't putting yourself in a bad spot even if you lose. I mean, this is really just for fun, and you don't have to bet everything. I say this all the time. You don't have to bet every game. And the pros don't bet every game. It's impossible. It is impossible for anyone. It's impossible for me. Even though I have a 45+% ROI in NFL right now, if I was I am focusing on college basketball. I'm starting to do a little bit of the NBA just because the NFL is slowing down. But the thing is at the height of the season, I can't focus on the NHL, the NBA, the NCAA. I mean, I can't focus on everything all at once and still maintain a high ROI of 40+% ROI. Like it fell apart. I mean, even the pros need to focus and, spend time on it and not bet every game, do a detailed analysis. Even during the playoffs games like this, I've had to completely change, like even how I'm evaluating games because I know that everything has shifted for the playoffs. There's more money coming in. There's more Joe money flying all over the place. I've had to what would be, level 5, level 4 money and the regular season now is level 1 money for me in these playoff games. You also have to shift your analysis for what's going on around you and what's timely at the moment.
Absolutely. And Chuck makes a good point down there. He said, yesterday I made 3 bets. The guy next to me bet 68 tickets. You're right. He had 0 chance to win that right there. You're simply, I've said it. If I've said it once, I've said it 10,000 times. Those places out in Vegas were not built on winners. The reason those casinos are all 20 stories tall and there's 45 of them within a 10-minute walk is because people are losing. The books don't miss that much, man. And if you're betting that many tickets in one day, the simple fact of the matter is the law of averages tells you you're going to lose right there because you're not going to hit a lot of those, man. And you wind up got all this little money invested when you could have took 3 bets like Chuck did, invested a little more money on it, been in a lot better spot right there, and you actually turn a profit that day versus this guy that's been sweating all day long and he wants to jump off one of those high buildings as soon as he's done. So
100%.
Exactly.
Well said. And that is my absolute fault. Like as a better or not as an I'm just a regular amateur Joe. Then I meet you guys. I'm still a Joe, but now I'm a Joe that maybe is starting to learn that there's a word called bankroll. and there's a word called management. And if you put those together, you start to figure some things out. Bankroll management, which I would love. I still want to do a 101 class on bankroll management that we can just have sitting on the channel. Like, just touch it, and we're going to explain what a bankroll is, what a unit is, how much we should start to bet. If I'm starting with $500, what is a unit? What's my percentages? How does this work over time? Not just a playoff, but if I was to bet for 365 days, how do I come out at 349, 350, 351 with some money in my pocket?
Yeah.
Right.
Exactly.
That is bankroll management. It's almost like if you're gonna. I was trying to think of an analogy because this is what I'm horrible at, and I'm learning, and I'm having a bunch of fun learning it. But it's like if you're overweight and somebody's like just goes to the gym and works out, but never goes to the kitchen. Bankroll management's the kitchen. It's not fun. It's not like exciting to talk about, but it's fucking important.
Oh, well,
if you don't have that, there's no point in following somebody like Ari, who is in it as an investment. She's not in it to gamble. She's in it to invest her money and have a return at the end of the year.
And that's one of our big things at sportspicks.locals.com. We tell you to take it as a day trading mentality. Small investments for small returns to build something over time. Yes, it's great to hit your 25 to 1s and all that stuff. We love to beat our chest and peacock around and all that. But let's be real. The simple fact of the matter is the reason it's 25 to 1s because it ain't easy to hit. And you're not going to hit that many of them. You're like, well, I only got to hit 1 in 50. Well, you probably won't. If we're being honest, a lot of times you're going to wind up losing all that money, and then you got to try to scramble and you start looking for things in places where you shouldn't, and you're trying to just find a winner here and there. That's how you see people kind of spiral out of control there when they start trying to chase those winnings. Like Steph said here, when I started betting, my unit was $1. There ain't nothing wrong with that, man. And then look what Steph is one of the most successful sports bettors that I know right there. That man crushes MLB.
He is the fucking Toyota Prius of sports betting,
and he wins.
From $1, he has built his bankroll over the years over MLB seasons. That's our MLB guy, Ari. That he'll be doing our MLB show with us. He's phenomenal with the major league, but he's still the goddamn Prius. It is not fun. Well, and he's built fun because you have money on it, but it is really built to win. It's not built to like have sweats.
And he's built this thing up. I don't feel like I'm doxing you here, Steps, because you said this on the espresso shot this morning, but he's built that bankroll up from $1 bets all the way up. Now his unit size is $50 a bet. So he's built that thing up all the way. I mean, that's growing money exponentially right there. And he doesn't ever have to worry about putting more money in the account and things like that. He knows how to adjust his unit size if he needs to right there. And that's key. Bankroll management is probably the number one thing when it comes to being successful at sports betting, because you've got to have that discipline to just step away sometimes, know that you're having a bad run or whatever. But you also got to know not to double down in a bad spot when you're having a bad run. Just keep doing what you're doing. Stay the course. It'll turn around for you. You just got to make sure you're doing the bankroll management the right way.
And I want to talk about, so not today, but someday we should sit down and have a full-on conversation about money management when it comes to the sports wagering, or we're kind of not, we're spinning our wheels with everybody that's listening to us that wants to learn how to make money. Right,
I feel like this could be its own show, like bankroll management, and like, just strategies and tips.
Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah, we could get together and do that. We're trying to grow the channel a little bit, put some extra content out there and stuff. But yeah, those are the type things that people need to hear. It's great to bet and all that stuff, but we want to keep it fun. We're not going to have any kind of business if everybody's losing money and nobody sports bets anymore. So we want people to be successful and enjoy it.
Or if we have a bunch of lottery winners running around that win a bunch of money and then go blow it, right?
Yeah, I don't run good enough for that.
Yeah, so we want to learn how to we want to learn how to act when we have money. So how do we act when the sports book says here's some money? Do we act like 4-year-olds and run to the ice cream shop and put sprinkles and gummy bears on everything? Or do we put it in the bank and say, all right, we'll see you tomorrow?
Yeah. We'll be back.
And I'm the 2-year-old. I'm talking about me, not you guys out there watching. I'm not making fun of you. This is me. I want the chocolate mint chip. I want a parlay. Give me the sprinkles, the gummy worms. That's me.
You do, man. You want it all, man.
I would say like Cricket, Ari, Chuck would be like, put it in the bank and say, we might see you tomorrow. We might not.
We might.
Depends on what your product you're selling me is. But we'll look.
I could sit here and tell you all this stuff, and I'll be honest, a lot of these things I've learned off of my own beats. I had to build my own playbook over time, learning these things. I don't think anybody ever gets sharp without being square first. You got to learn some of these things the hard way. That's just life. Some lessons in life you got to learn the hard way. Take your medicine and deal with it. So a lot of things I've learned over sports betting is because I've been sports betting since I was 12 years old. Over 20 years now. So I had to learn a lot of things the hard way, but that's what we're trying to prevent from happening to y'all. If you listen to us, we'll give you a playbook off of our own beats, and then you'll be able to adjust to those right there. You don't want to spend 20 years learning this stuff, I promise.
Exactly. And I feel like even on TV, like I was watching the Fox, talking heads talking before the 49ers play last night, and they're setting up these 3-leg parlays, and what people don't understand is just because you were a star athlete, just because you're a star coach, you could talk about the game great, get into detail, analyze it, really talk about the game, but it does not mean that you could talk about betting and sports wagering in a smart way. And that's what people need to understand is, we're coming from a place of real math and analysis here. And, we aren't the talking heads on TV who really aren't providing people good wagering information. And the people that are getting the millions of views and that are talking about it just because you're the manager at a McDonald's does not mean that you should be day trading fast food stocks.
I agree. A lot of them people making the millions are somebody's grandkid.
Analogy.
There's something that somebody's grandkid that got a spot they maybe didn't deserve, and a lot of those big money guys out there that you'll see. Steph's got a big play today in soccer. This is a big play for him. He says Series A soccer, Juventus money line. That's a big play for Steph's. He got 2 units on that today. He's normally a 1-unit guy when it comes to soccer, so if he's throwing 2 units on something, he likes it. So
I'm
Juventus
telling you,
money
he's
line.
a fucking Prius. He's a Toyota Prius. When the Toyota Prius switches the old over to the combustion motor turn on.
Oh, man.
You turn your combustion motor on.
I think yesterday, I told him on the show this morning, I said, I think you traded your Prius in for a rocket ship yesterday. That boy was going crazy, man, between UFC and everything. What we got there? Runs a million sims on -200. She loses, guaranteed. And the AI stuff, the numbers don't lie, y'all. We could sit and talk about AI and all that, whatever. I don't know what anybody's opinion is on it, but the proof's in the pudding. They run the numbers. They give you more sample size than you could ever get through really playing the game, stuff like that. So you gotta trust the AI. I think there's more and more to it. I haven't got to dive into it as much as Ari has, but I know there's a lot to it because the numbers don't lie.
Ari is so this is what Ari brings to the table that's different. So Cricket's always going to bring a ton of fucking experience and a great voice, right? Entertainment.
I appreciate that, man. Thank you.
Oh, yeah.
That's a great voice.
Because you got great at talking sports and betting on sports. Ari's going to come from she could give 2 fucks who wins these games. She's going to come at a pure AI mathematical. This is what the book says to do. This is what I'm going to do. It's not super it's only entertaining because she's cute as shit. That's why your content's entertaining. The math behind it is boring.
A lot of people don't like math, but the math is what the numbers is what you got to have. You got to have the numbers.
When you add the characters all together, you get wins phenomenally. We're going to learn how to manage a bankroll. This is what me and Chuck are on the same page on this. He's reading my brain. I'll open up a new sports book on a new site. We'll go from scratch and we'll learn how to do it from I want a sports bet with you guys, and we're going to class 101. We'll open up a sports book. We'll put a little money in it and we'll start betting. And we'll with this sports book that I'm going to put together, I'm only going to use it for Ari's bets. That's it. Whatever Ari's plays are, this is the book we're going to put on, and it'll be the Wake and Rake book. And we're going to play Ari's bets.
I like it.
Unless Cricket comes in with the 5 unit. If Cricket says 5 units, that's like Heavy saying 3 units.
You know Cricket don't do that 5 unit a whole lot, man. I'm not really a big believer in that whole 5 unit thing because a lot of times, especially in professional sports, I think more of my 5 units are reserved for around college football and things like that, where I really find a spot. Professional sports I feel like are too much of a gamble because all them guys are pros out there and anybody can show up on any given night. So I'm real careful with those big plays on any professional sport.
Here's what we're going to do. Then Callie Rhodes, this is my oldest daughter, my 24-year-old. She will come on and she will start a new one on her computer. because she is legit never. She has not ever been on this side of things. It's not her gig.
This is so cool having her
But
on
she wants
today,
to
by the
try
way.
now.
Yeah. She been in there last couple days. She came in on an espresso shot a couple times. So
I like smoking a joint together.
So
it is called Wake and Rake.
We'll get her to start an account. She will follow Ari and she'll play Ari's bets. Ari has a sick ROI, so you'll do well.
I like it.
That's how much I believe in Ari bets. I will send my own daughter to play her plays before I tell my daughter to play my plays. No. Play Ari's
wow.
plays. Fuck with that play.
I feel honored.
You don't have that kind of money, kid. You gotta hang out with Ari. She wins.
Yeah. She'll be calling you to borrow some money. Dad, I need some money out of that account. I got a bet today.
Chuck said, so Chuck, hopefully we can work it out where you're in the comments for this 101 and we'll figure out like what book to use, how to figure out what book to use, what odds to use, all of it. We'll go. I mean, just from, we will have Callie on here asking questions and she'll have a lot because she doesn't sports bet, nor has she ever.
She's a lot more monotone than you, man. She said, let's kick ass MFers. You totally would have dropped the whole thing out there, man. She's a lot more reserved than you are.
No, she's stoned, and that was too many words. One of the last words.
That's okay too, man.
So we will get that show together, Callie Rose, and hopefully Chuck can be in the comments, and he can help us out with some questions that we have, especially with bankroll management. I bet he's got some ideas. Do a MLB consensus play with all you guys. Make a show. I love that.
We get Steps in here for that. We get Steps in. That's our MLB
Ari
guy
on
right
that.
there.
Steps and Ari, they can hash out what's the best bet of the day.
Oh yeah, I mean last season I had a 34% ROI in Major League Baseball at the end of the season. I mean literally hundreds of units. So
what was it though? What was the ROI? I apologize.
34%.
God damn it! Yeah.
So I mean, if you really think about it, out there, like hedge funds are like dying to make 34%.
Fuck yes.
every quarter. I mean, you know,
that's got a hedge fund manager out there. He would be killing to make 34% every quarter. Come on now. Yeah, he would. He'd love that. That's what I'm saying. You can do the same type thing with your sports betting right there if you'll just follow the rules.
I watched this. Bill Ackman would fucking die for that. I'm not a big fan of the guy, but
don't even know him.
He did these shorts.
He's a great shorter, and
he's phenomenally smart.
Yeah, I kind of know him from the business sector, but it's been fun seeing him on the I follow this Instagram page. This isn't a promotion for them or anything, but Overheard Wall Street, and they've been putting him on the front of Instagram like every morning.
I followed him when he was shorting Herbalife for that stock. He really made a big campaign about it. It was a big deal.
I don't really know who this guy is.
Yeah, he's a big player in shorts.
He's a big player in America. He's got the kind of money that can he moves needles in America. Okay. Not just in stocks and other places. If he wants the president of Harvard not there anymore, the president of Harvard won't be there anymore. He's that kind of guy.
Oh, yeah, one of those people.
Coming after Business Insider.
Yeah,
I mean, but I feel like what Business Insider did was wrong. You know, like you don't attack someone like Bill Ackman's wife, who's actually like a very knowledgeable and
that didn't make fucking sense, Ari. It doesn't go together. None of it made sense.
And when you actually look at it, like she didn't. I mean, just because you forget to put a quotation mark in a spot and maybe forget like a footnote here, and I don't know if it was 300 or 400. I mean, it's a huge, essay that she wrote. Just for this, a little thing like a quotation mark or a missing footnote in a paper that long. I mean, it's kind of is wrong to come after someone for plagiarism for something like that when it's such an overreach. And I mean, you could look at every academic paper, and I mean, once you get into the 300-400 page range, I mean, there might be a missing footnote here, but it doesn't mean that they're a plagiarizer. You know?
Well, I get a lot of people in here. They want to talk. You say stats and things like that aren't owned by anybody. You just got to go out and find the research and find that. So a lot of people are like, well, you're just saying. I'm like, no, the stats are the stats. I can't change those. I can't plagiarize those. They are what they are. The numbers are there right in front of you. You got to say them. It doesn't matter if you say it one time or 40 times or whatever, but the stats are the stats, and you can't really plagiarize stuff like that, man.
One thing about I don't want to take this into politics, and one thing great about Bill Ackman is he's not super right in the front of your face in politics ever. A lot of those players really aren't. They have been lately because our country's gotten so polarized. You can't get out from underneath it now. There's just no way. There's no way around it. We've kind of done that to ourselves. I'll leave that alone. We have a political show for that, but I will tell you that Bill Ackman's a smart motherfucker, and. Ackman versus Cuban. You take Bill Ackman every time. Callie's punching shit on her phone. Vision can change them.
Okay. Fair enough. Y'all know that ain't really my field, man. Y'all know the politics ain't really my thing. Right
no. Yeah.
I guess I just feel passionate because, like, as a woman who's writing even just books right now, and it's getting all the citations and footnotes and everything, it takes a lot of time and energy.
Absolutely.
And,
without a team, you got to have a team for that shit.
Yeah. And I don't have people doing my work for my books for me. I'm doing the work because it's my book authored under my name, no one else is. So
it's your reputation on the line. So good morning.
Exactly.
Have a good evening. Good day, Patriot. Have a good day,
Patriot,
sir.
be good, brother.
Good luck to you today.
Good gambling, man. We're gonna have a good day today. Let's bring this back to gambling though, real quick, and let's tighten this up.
Have we talked about that Bills Chiefs game yet?
No, that's where we got to get to.
Okay.
So Cricket's on Detroit and the 6.
I'm on Detroit minus the 6, man. I'm on Detroit and I'm on the over. I just feel like the line's too weird with that not having a total above 45 all year long for the Bucks. Going up, 4.5 points above that, sitting at 49.5 right now on DraftKings. Just feels like a weird spot. Something's funny there. I smell something. So I'm going over in this thing, and I'm going to take Detroit.
All right, Bet, you're off this game, right? You're not. We're not playing the side or the total.
I just like 3 props. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep,
Goff over 1.5 rushing yards and under 282.5 passing yards, and Mayfield under 36.5 passing attempts.
I like it. I think I might put that in a parlay by itself.
And I'm with Cricket on Detroit, but I will be if it's a sprinkle. I got 1 unit on it. I got $5 on it, so that if the Creamsicles win, I can jump up and down and be excited for Baker because it'd be fun. It'd be fun to watch.
Man, I love Baker. Baker, if nothing else, man, Baker has earned the right to be the starting quarterback in Tampa Bay for at least next season. The man needs to get paid. He's earned that. And I like seeing it out of Baker, man. He's a gritty guy, a gamer. He'll never lay down. You'll never see that guy quit on you. You have to cut his leg off to get him off the field out there, man. So I love Baker. I love seeing what he's been able to do. And maybe it keeps going today. Maybe it does. But, I think he's earned the right to get paid.
Cricket, main event. Kansas City Chiefs, Buffalo Bills. Patty Mahomes, Taylor Swift will be in the house with Brittany. I bet Jason and his wife will be in the suite. Mom and Dad, Kels. How we
feeling? Be a family affair.
This? Yeah.
It definitely was. Man, this one, to me, I think everybody is kind of on the recency bias of the Chiefs in the playoffs and stuff. I just haven't seen a lot out of this team this year that tells me that this is the same type Chiefs teams we've seen in the past. They don't really have a pulse. A lot of those wide receivers dropping balls all year long, the most drop passes in the league. Travis Kelce hadn't been playing great. He had a few drops himself last week. A sure-handed guy you never see really do that. He had a few of those last week. Rashee Rice is playing really well. He's probably the top option in that offense, in my opinion, at this point right now. Chico's played well too, but to me, it feels like it's going to come down to the turnover battle today. You got the Bills that have forced 30 turnovers this year, something like, I think it's second or something in the league. But then you have the Chiefs who have only forced 17, 27th best in the league right there. I think it's going to boil down to which quarterback has to make a play at a big spot, and I think Mahomes is the one that makes the mistakes today. I think everybody's expecting Josh Allen to be the guy that makes that mistake right there. I think he's going to play a pretty clean, polished game and really try not to beat his team. You're going to see him not try to make some of those big-time throws that he tries to squeeze in there. And I think the quarterback that winds up making the mistake this thing is going to be Patrick Mahomes this time. I'm on the Bills.
I like it. I'm not a believer in Josh Allen. I would love to see Josh Allen come out and play a fucking clean game, start to finish. That would be phenomenal. The Bills deserve it. Those fans deserve it.
Yeah.
Arrowhead's had theirs. They are bringing the Walrus with them, though. Anytime you have Andy Reid on the sideline,
True.
that is tough. That is a hell of a coach. I really am a big Andy Reid fan, especially when he wears a glacier. Like last week, I saw a legit polar bear all the way coming across that. So
those were straight.
Oh, that was great.
Bro.
That was good football. Oh, I love winter footballs. The snow flying. Let's go. Breath, you see it. Players that you love the tough ones come out. They're all trying to be tough with no. I'd have an undershirt on. I'm sorry. Maybe I'm just old.
Bro,
but the linemen, they like to be tough.
Well, you talk about the Bills fans, but needing it for them. Did you see how many fans they had there the other day lined up to go in and shovel snow out of that stadium?
Yes. And
those people love their football team, bro.
They love it. And then
they love it.
On game day, they will have no shirt on, negative 100. No matter. It'll say, go
I know.
Across.
How do they do it?
Sliding down the aisles and stuff the other day, getting snow out with no shirt on. These people built different, man.
They're just like shoveling, pushing their way through it. Like, I'm going to find my seat no matter what. I love it. I love it. That is dedication right there. I mean, that is some serious dedication.
Sports from kindergarten, from T-ball to pro baseball and all in between. Sports is one of the great equalizers that will bring us together.
Absolutely.
All under one roof.
Absolutely.
You
know? You
and cannabis too.
Cannabis too.
Right.
That's right, Ari. Hey, don't forget that.
Well, sports, a lot of times you look at some of the bigger tragedies in American history and stuff, 9/11, things like that. What brought us back together after stuff like that happened? The sporting events were the biggest moments in you really saw us come back because you see teams from both sides. In sports, you have the rivalries and the hated rivalries, all that stuff. But you didn't see that after the big tragic event. You see sports come back together. You see fans from different teams hugging each other. Sports is, you're right, the ultimate equalizer that can bring us out of some of these dark times, man. And I don't think it gets enough credit for that.
No.
But before we get off go ahead.
Nope. That's all.
I was just going to say, Ari, I want to know what the money's doing on this thing because I got a feeling there's got to be some money on this thing, right?
Actually, there's no money on the spread.
Oh, everybody's scared
Vegas
of it.
isn't doing anything. Yeah, it's -2.5, and it hasn't moved since the opening. There's no money anywhere, so I'm completely passing on this. The total, the look headline was 46. It opened up officially at 46.5. It went down to 45.5. It went to 46.5. Went down to 45.5 on the under with level 2 money. This is something to watch, but as of right now, I'm staying away from it.
It feels weird, man. And I hate taking the -2.5. I always like to fade the -2.5 and go the other way. I saw it at one day this week, and I don't even know if it was a mistake or not by DraftKings, but it switched to 3 for maybe a minute because when I refreshed my screen, it was already back to 2.5. I think a lot of that's teaser protection too. I think they don't want to have a lot of people that can tease the Chiefs up to 10 right there because you can see it. 9.5, one of those 10, the key number right there. So I think they want to keep the teaser protection away from that, being able to tease it up to 10. So if you're going to tease it 9.5, they get saved a little bit. The Bills can find a way to win by 10 right there. But I think that's more the line stuff. I think that's why it's not really moving. I think it's more teaser protection in this thing because I really don't think they know.
Yeah, I have to think that Oh, sorry.
No, I was just going to say, Callie, when guys like Chuck say, never seen a game this dead, Ari says, no money, I'm staying away from it. And me and Cricket are like, wow, we had our money on it last Tuesday.
I started to say, I bet that 3 or 4 days ago. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
they won't let it, if I cash out now, they're making me take I don't get all my money back, man. So I got to let it ride.
Oh, yeah, now we're playing. But the right play here is obviously to fire up a joint, sit back on the couch, enjoy the game. Do not bet it.
You're allowed to watch these as a fan. That's what people forget. You're allowed to just be a football fan sometimes.
I forgot. I didn't realize that. I thought that was only in under 14 was allowed to do that.
Yeah, like you didn't have enough skin in that Packers game last night that you had bets tied in that thing all different ways, and you didn't have enough to sweat just being a Packers fan.
Oh yeah, no. Yeah, it was. Yeah,
I'm not preaching to you because it's the same way with me today. Yeah, I could sit back and watch that Buccaneers game just as a fan and be just fine, but I won't. I'll have 13 different bets tied in and same game parlays and everything else. Now I'm not going to go crazy. Not $50.
We haven't got into underdog yet.
Oh my goodness!
I got all kind of tied up over there too. I'll be right back, guys.
You're good. You're good. Do your thing. So what are you looking at some props in this thing? Are you got some you like here?
Okay, yeah, I like James Cook over 15.5 receiving yards.
I love that. It's one of my top props of the week. I love that.
Oh, cool. I love this. So we both agree.
That's right.
This
That's
is
right.
good. I have a really good feeling. Maybe I'll double down on it.
I think so. I think I'm going to now.
And I like Rice under 6.5 receptions.
Okay. Yeah, I think it's one of those things. They got those receptions for him. I think Kelsey's at 6. He's at 6.5. That feels just like a lot for those guys. Because I think for the Chiefs to really have a chance of this thing, you're going to have somebody step up that we're not accustomed to seeing step up. A Justin Watson, a Noah Gray, one of those guys right there. In VS, God, I can't touch that guy. But, one of those guys is going to have to make a play in a spot for the Chiefs to win this thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, yeah, I like that. So you got under receptions on Rashee Rice and then over the receiving yards for James Cook. I love that. I mean, he had 83 receiving yards the last time when they played. And I just feel like this is a guy they've really gotten more involved in the passing game lately. You really see him getting some more volume. Been saying it for years. They need to let James Cook. And I thought they were ruining him up there, and they finally got him involved in the offense now. And you've seen this team play much better. It takes some of the pressure off of Josh Allen. You don't have to rely completely on Stephon Diggs. You've seen a guy like Khalil Shakir step up, make some plays. Hardy's made some plays, mostly in the return game, not so much as a receiver. But Dawson Knox is back healthy now to add another element to that tight end position with Dalton Kincaid, who's really come on strong in his rookie season. So I just feel like the Bills, to me right now, I've seen the Chiefs beat themselves more than I've seen the Bills beat themselves in the last month and a half right there. So to me, it feels like the momentum. Now you got the home game. They've had to play all these playoff matchups on the road right there. Now you get the home game in Buffalo in front of your fans who are over there shoveling snow out of the aisles for you. It just feels like that place is going to be rocking today. Yeah, I love that.
I love it. I love how passionate the fans are up there. It's amazing to watch.
And if we're being honest, who has had a rougher history than the Buffalo Bills when it comes to big game? What is it, 4 straight Super Bowls in a row or whatever that they lost right there? I mean, the fact that you made 4 Super Bowls in a row is absolutely incredible. But to lose 4, I don't know what's worse. Whether your team just sucks and misses the playoffs or if you go to the Super Bowl every year and you lose it right there. So I feel like these Bills fans are long overdue for some love right here.
Yeah, I feel like they need to incorporate some I don't know. Maybe it's more of a psychological thing. Maybe, you just got to get over that last hump to win the Super Bowl.
I agree.
Maybe they need some.
If they win this one today,
management,
because this is the one that's had them. This is the team right here that's gave them all kinds of problems in their psyche. This is the one they lose sleep over. In that offseason, you're laying there staring at the ceiling at night. That's who they're thinking about, the Kansas City Chiefs, because that's the one we can't get past that hump. And if they can get over this one, I think the sky's the limit for this team right here. You got to go down to Baltimore, who's playing as good a football as anybody and has been for the entire season pretty much. And, but I think the Bills right here, I tell you what, the Baltimore Ravens would much rather see the Kansas City Chiefs coming to town than they would the Buffalo Bills. I can promise you that. Because it feels like to me, this Bills team, they might be a team. I'm real happy, man. I got a little 40-1 ticket on them to win the Super Bowl way back when they were like 5-6 or whatever it was. I was like, them odds are too high. I felt like they were going to turn it around, squeak into the playoffs. If you get in the playoffs, you got a chip in a chair and a shot. So I went ahead and put a little money on that 40-1 for the Bills. So I ain't mad at it. I got a little ticket on the Ravens. We're going to hedge out of this thing at some point, but we got a lot of life left in this. I even got a little one on my Buccaneers. I think it's dead money, but I didn't put too much on it. But I put it way back in like October or something. But it's like 750 to 1 or something, or not 75 to 1. Excuse me, plus 7,500. But yeah, it's a big one. Fari said, "Just smoke and watch. That's what we will do." That's right. That's right. She knows how to listen, man. You raised that girl right.
She wants money. She likes money. I can tell you that.
So here you go, Chris. We're going to give you the free winner of the day, man. We both agreed on it. James Cook over receiving yards.
Prop of the day. I like
That's
it.
The prop of the day right there. That's a winner, man. Just go ahead and set that. Put the money in the account. Be ready to bet it again tomorrow.
James Cook.
Over on receiving yards. Should be around 15.5 to 17.5, depending on what your book's got it at. But I think he had 83 the last time they played. Caught him a good little touchdown up the seam right there. I like James Cook, man. I do.
I could get.
Look how you maybe look at that had a big game last week. Even drops the passes. Could have had a bigger game. Look at Kate Otten.
I got James Cook over 18.5 minus 114.
I love it. I love it. Lock it in. Double bet it, man.
Double up.
But yeah. I like Kate Otten too. You saw him get a lot more involved in that thing last week. I think they're going to focus on Mike Evans, and they're going to focus on Chris Godwin right there. So I think Cade Otton will have some opportunities if he catches the ball. Like I said, he should have had over 100 yards receiving last week. Still had a good game, but dropped 2 key passes right there. Just lucky it wasn't in a game where it really mattered. So as long as he don't drop the ball, and I think he's going to get some of those intermediate routes right there to try to keep the pressure off of Baker. So I like Cade Otton over 29.5 receiving yards too. Not as much as I like James Cook though.
What else you got? Sorry, Ari. What else did you have on the Chiefs Bills? Did you say some more props?
Yeah, I also like Rice under 6.5 receptions.
Receptions. So I got to get better at finding these in the book. You know what I'm saying? Because I have to use offshore books because it's not legal here, so we don't get DraftKings.
Oh,
okay. You don't, yeah, y'all. So what book do you use, Chris? What do you use? Bet Online?
Yep. And what was the prop? Okay, it was Rice for yards or completions?
Rice under receptions?
Yeah, under 6.5 receptions.
Under 6.5. Got it.
Yeah, I like that too. I feel like that's a lot of receptions. You got. I mean, I don't
Yeah.
think the weather's gonna be too bad. It'll be about 20 degrees up there today. I saw the last report I saw was like 14 mile an hour wind, up to 28 mile an hour gusts. But I really don't think it's gonna. These two teams are accustomed to playing in this type of weather. Both coming off bad weather games. It does scare me a little bit with the Chiefs having, an extra 2 days, really about 36 hours or so in rest right there, extra rest. And then sometimes that mattered. But when you got two teams, it'd be different than one of these teams that's coming from like a Tampa or something like that, where you're not used to this sort of thing. But both these teams are accustomed to cold weather games right there. So I don't know that you look too much into the extra rest there. Because let's be honest, that game against the Steelers, it didn't feel like, I mean, I know it was closer than expected, but it didn't feel like the Bills really had to exert a whole lot of energy in that thing.
No. In fact, I think if they would have blown them out. Is that what else you got, Ari? Is that it for this game, Ari?
Yeah, that's all I got.
No, you're good. And then Tampa Bay, make sure I'm right. We had a Baker prop, which I got in. And what were the other? You had two more. You had a Goff?
Yeah, I had two on Goff, actually. Over
Tell
1.5 rushing yards and under 282.5 passing yards.
Got it.
Yep, I like that.
Under on rushing, you said, or over?
Over.
Yeah.
I like
it. And then you're on Buffalo. That's what you told me.
I'm on Buffalo. Yes, I'm on the Bills. I'm not really messing with the total in this thing. I think you got to be careful with that total today, being right there. 21-17 last time they played. What did you say? Ari opened at 46.5, then went down to 45 for just a minute, went back up to 45.5. I think it's funny. I think somebody's getting hooked right there.
It keeps bouncing back and forth. All I can say is like this is something to wait and see on.
Yeah, and it's all around a bunch of key numbers right there. So I feel like somebody's getting hooked in this thing one way or the other. So you can flip your coin if you want. Just pick one. Bet it that way. If you want to do that, I don't recommend it. But I'm just saying I think you're gambling bet on the total in this game. Gambling more than we like to anyway. So, but yeah, no, I do. I like the Bills day. I just feel like it's time for Josh Allen to get that monkey off his back. He's had the whole, he played well. They jumped out of those Chiefs in that first game. They were up 14-0, 14-3, something like that. The Chiefs really had to battle back late. I want to see the Bills, if they're able to get out like that again. You got to kind of put your foot on their throat and finish them off while you got a chance. You don't want to let that Patrick Mahomes team and Andy Reid and all those guys, you can't let them hang around. So if the Bills can get out and really kind of set the tone early, I think that's another key for them too. And then once again, the turnover battle, whichever quarterback makes the mistakes. But that's what I got on that one.
Nice.
Yeah.
So
yeah, Vegas isn't really moving on a spread on this one, and the money's not really reaching significance. So I don't personally have a play on the spread right now. It has really kind of stayed where it's at since the opening, 2.5.
Yeah, that's fair. It's exciting betting weekend for all the Joes, but the pros are like, yeah, whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, they are.
Kind of. Do you got any other plays you're looking at today?
No, that's really what I'm going to go pretty heavy on these. When it comes to playoffs, man, I try to turn my focus to that because there are so many little underlying themes, so many layers to these things that you got to kind of really tune in on that. So I've kind of left the NHL and all that stuff alone. I'll probably pick a random anytime goal scorer or something, but I don't even know who that is yet. I'll just pick somebody because I like their name.
Yeah, that's fair. You don't do that, Ari?
No, I don't do that.
That's not her jam. She ain't messing with that. She knows better.
Are you betting anything else today, Ari, outside of NFL?
I'm waiting and seeing on that. So I'll have my morning email going out in a little bit, so you could follow along with the games with me on my email. Of course, this newsletter is it's not like giving you like telling you what you should bet on today. It's more like a tool that you could use for information. And when you read this newsletter, you could see my strategy on how I bet and my analysis and where the money's going, where Vegas is taking a stance. So I will be covering college basketball, NBA, and of course football today. And I'll have my props listed in there as well. So make sure to get that for free. And I send it out every day, every single day, like clockwork.
Yeah.
It went out even on Christmas, every single day there's sports being played, the email's going out. So make sure to check it out and sign up for free at arielcalista.com. That is ARIEL. Oh, sorry. It's ARIELCALISTA.
I was
Perfect.
going to actually spell it, but you did it.
Oh, we were thinking the same thing.
That's
It's
right.
Right here on the
Perfect.
bottom.
It's right here.
There it is. There you go.
Check it out. arielcalista.com. Sign up.
What else you got going
it's
on?
Free.
What about your TikTok? 'Cause that's where you give away your winners, right?
Yeah, my TikTok every day I post right before the game, so I hold myself accountable to you guys, to everyone watching. I post all of my plays before the game, so you could follow them there on TikTok at Ariel Calista, and make sure to check in every day before the game because that's when my plays will be up, and these are my official plays that I'm betting for the day, and that's what I count in my ROI that you see. So there you go.
Beautiful.
Follow me, Ariel Calista.
How about you, Craig? Where are we going to find you, brother?
Oh, you can find me over at sportspicks.locals.com for the greatest value in sports handicapping. We got the great Robert Barnes making the official picks over there. That man crushes it. Hit another big 5% play last week. He's got one out today. You can use the promo code GAMEON and get 40% off your annual subscription, over a $200 value right there. Come check us out over at sportspicks.locals.com where we turn the odds in your favor. And also, me and Will every morning, Sports Morning Espresso Shot, 7:30 a.m. We're on Rumble, Twitter, Facebook, all that stuff. Come check us out, man. We like to have a silly goose time over there.
Yep. Check them out on Rumble. They a little bit on YouTube, but Will cuts it off at YouTube. Usually, if I'm on there, for sure, they're not on YouTube. Then because me and Will start going off. There's no reason.
We're not allowed to be on YouTube with you on there, man.
No. They don't love me. They don't love winners, Cricket. They don't love winners.
I don't think it's you, man. It's just some of the opinions get a little rough in there with YouTube. There's a little snowflake mentality, man. They can't handle it.
See, we're going to put a little something together on some betting shows here with Cricket and Will and myself and Eric, Ari, and Heavy Steps.
Yep.
And I'm just there for political flavor, really, and to make money off you guys. Let's be honest. And probably, and I'm going to get us onto the internet and get all this figured out. We're going to start doing some different stuff with the cameras. I may start doing that on Morning Espresso Shot and just fuck with Will. But we're gonna start doing some different camera shots that are a little bit more engaging.
I like it, man. I
like it. Cricket is an auctioneer. Cricket is the voice of sports talk. Like when I shut my eyes and envision sports talk, I envision Cricket and Coach Eric and Ari coming on with her math analysis. That's what I hear in my head. And then Will telling the story. I mean, there's a lot of cast of characters that we podcast with, but the main thing is we bet smart.
That's right. We got our own little island of misfit toys, man.
We are an island of misfit toys. Just throwing money at the books. Sometimes they throw it back at us. You got to catch it.
Sometimes they do, man. Sometimes let's cash them coupons, man.
It used to be we had some we're out here trying to catch the sports book. We brought Ari in. She's basically like our pro catcher. She's just gonna sit behind the plate and catch it.
She in there reeling them
You
in,
guys are
man.
fucking
Just reeling
this
them in. Yeah.
Yeah.
She out there fishing.
Thank you.
So yeah, it'll be. We have a lot of exciting things coming up, but morning espresso shot it's every morning, right?
Every
It's
morning,
7
man.
days a
We've been
week.
going 7 days a week with the playoffs. So we usually do Monday through Friday, and we may go back to Monday through Friday after the playoffs are over and all that. Will's about to have twins and all that stuff, but I mean,
It'll be me and Cricket for a while. While
yeah,
Will's
we'll
on
still
maternity
be
leave.
doing that, give you all that stuff. But yeah, I mean, we do a good job. Make sure we get plenty of content out for y'all. Try to go a couple hours a day, you know, giving us all our insight and input on these things. It ain't always right, but more times than not, it is.
Yeah. And we'll try to get Ari if she's available early in the morning.
Absolutely.
She's on the East Coast too, so it's not quite as early for you. Like for Will, it's at 4:30 in the morning. He gets up at 3:30 to do that show.
Yeah,
every
that man
day.
is a trooper, bro.
Yeah.
He
So
gets
not-
up at 4:30 in the
not so
morning
bad
to talk sports with me for 2 hours. Then he goes to his real job, which is actually like
Hour and a half.
So he's
Yeah.
got to be on point. Like you can't be giving people the wrong drugs and stuff. So the man's got to be on point. I'm telling you, that man's a trooper. He got a whole herd of kids, about to add more. I'll tell you, I don't know where he gets that energy, but he does find it
And
somewhere.
daughters. Yeah, he does, and he is energetic. He likes to go.
Absolutely.
So, great cast of characters. Come find us. Other than that, any final thoughts, Cricket?
I don't think so, man. Good luck to you today and all your wagers. You and your beautiful family stay safe out there. But hell, let's make some money.
Ari, one final thought. Give it to me.
One final thought. I'm kind of being put on a spot.
Follow TikTok.
Follow me on TikTok and wager responsibly. I think that was a good
wager
theme.
responsibly. That's a great final thought right there.
Yeah, I think that was kind of like a theme of today's episode.
Yep.
Yes, ma'am.
$5, totally fine.
$5 is it's actually better than fine. You'll have more fun, I promise.
Wager $1 if you want. I mean, there's really
yeah.
whatever you want to do. It's up to you, but be responsible.
All
take
right,
care of what you
everybody.
need to take care of first.
That's right.
Good
Don't
luck.
hurt yourself.
Good luck and good gambling. Stole that from Cricket.
That's